Hey guys, TacticalOyster here, bringing you guys episode 17 of 3-Bar Exploits. It is 17, not 18, Whackman, I checked.
Get it right.
And today we have Maze Man as our guest.
How you guys doing?
Say hello. He uploads a wide variety of content related to different things. You guys should check out his channel. It will be linked in the description as always. And we've got several fantastic topics this week. We apologize for our 1-week hiatus. We just had some scheduling issues, and that will happen every once in a while, but we should be good to go now. So, this week we're going to have Prison Talk, GTA5 Controversy Talk, a random question or two from WhackMed, which is about college football, bad college football teams playing against good college football teams for money. We're going to do a new segment called Feed the Fire, which will involve Bondfire and politics, so if you want to stick around for that. There's another random question as well from WhackMed. We're going to talk about PS4 HDMI recording at launch, which means you're not going to be able to record at launch on HDMI. That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about the lack of good YouTube content lately. So, Prison Talk.
Take it away.
Prison Talk. Okay. So there's a couple of funny stories about getting stuff into prison, and there's a couple of ways to do it that are besides the normal. Like, I see some chuckles already, but there's a couple of ways that I found that were interesting for people to get stuff into prison. First of all, as I don't know if it's Grand Theft Auto, but as video game as it sounds, you can pay off the delivery people because the inmates would unload the truck. So the delivery guy would bring it into like a secure area, and the inmates would unload the trucks so they could slip things back and forth. They're supervised, but you can't see everything. Another way that they did it was during visitation. The family members would come in, they'd bring the stuff, and they'd tape it up underneath the table, the little ledge that's in front of you, where because we didn't have the telephones, it was like a look through with like a bank teller deal, and you couldn't pass anything back and forth, but you could talk, and they'd tape it up under the desk, so whenever the inmates came around to clean, oh, look what they found, was one way that we saw it. And then there's the normal suitcase, which is hiding it in a orifice of your own to bring it in. Then cavity searches are not widely, at least where I was at, they're not done. First of all, you got to remember the guys doing it don't want to do it either. It's not like you can find any joy into strapping on a glove or taking a long hard look.
No guards are signing up for the cavity search.
Absolutely not. So, and then the last way was the most intriguing, was the throw it over the fence method. You'd have inmates get the plastic bottles of whiskey and then the cigarettes and stuff. They throw it over the fence, and we found all kinds of stuff thrown over the fence. And the weirdest was in pantyhose, which we learned later was recently worn pantyhose for whatever reason. But there was a liquor bottle and a carton of cigarettes that were they were tied inside the pantyhose to be thrown over the fence. They get caught in the wiring, in the razor wire of the fence, and it'd come down. So there was a sting operation one night. There was a couple of guards where I'm not a real guard, a certified law enforcement officer to carry a gun, so I couldn't be involved in the sting operation. That would have been really cool. But they stood out one night and like hid in the trees and the bushes and stuff. So they actually waited for the guy to throw the stuff inside the fence, and as soon as it was thrown inside the fence, they radioed and had guards go out and grab it and everything, and they arrested the guy. Well, it's a third-degree felony to introduce contraband into a secured facility. So the next day, the guy's like inside the jail, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, what was who was it for? And of course he wouldn't say who it's for, but it's like now he's sitting in here with his buddy who he was just trying to hook up with some booze, and they don't even have the bottle of whiskey to share between them. So it sucks for them, but there's more than one way to introduce contraband into a facility. You don't have to make your own alcohol if you can get it thrown over the fence, but you don't have to.
I was about to say, moral of the story is that you don't have to hide items inside yourself to get them into prison.
Be more creative. It's not all about just jamming and running inside and waiting for nature to take its course. You can come up with better things. Come on, cut the fence and go inside. If you're dying that hard to get it in there, then...
I almost feel like Prison Talk's getting worse and worse every week. Not in like the sense that I don't like it anymore, but like in the
worse
sense
and worse in like, I don't know. I follow
content-wise, I guess. I don't know. Like
it's
going
getting
there.
funnier. It's getting funnier.
I'm enjoying this. It's very entertaining. Question though,
funnier but less family friendly.
First off, when you say cavity search, I immediately think of Wayne's World. Does anyone get that reference?
No.
Maze Man gets it, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's towards the end when the TV producer dude who stole the show, he's trying to catch Wayne like doing the show and stop him from doing it, and the cop pulls him over, who's buddies with Wayne, gives him the old cavity search, and then he's like walking in the house like all goofy. I don't know. That sort of reminds me of it. I think it's funny. But did you ever want to be like a law enforcement officer?
Me, no. Well, see, I was all set to go to the law enforcement academy, and I actually had some very important official was going to pay for me to go, because they paid. Guards was like, when I was a guard, I was making $735, I think, was base salary. It had benefits, but it was $735. I was married with a kid, and that didn't really allow you any money to pay for tuition, for time off to go to school. And even though they'd keep you on night shift where you could go to school during the day shift or during daytime, you didn't make enough money to be able to, pay a light bill and also pay a tuition fee. So there was somebody in particular that was set up to pay for me to go to law enforcement academy, and I was supposed to start that January of 2004. And I was all set up to start registration and stuff, and I got a job as a paramedic, or as an EMT at the time, and that started in December. And I was like, well, I love them both. So I sat down and talked to the sheriff. I was like, man, I was much more respectful than that, but I've got these two things I really enjoy, doing both of them. He's like, well, you can't chase two rabbits, you'll lose them both, which I found out later was actually a pretty huge quote, and I didn't recognize it. And it took me to Civilization 4, another game that I do play, to find out that it was a famous quote.
No, you don't. Stop.
Wait, stop it.
No, you don't.
Play another game other than Call of Duty?
Dude, I love Civilization 4. It was an awesome game.
Whoa, this is like news. This is big news.
Hundreds of hours
because it's not true.
On PC. No, I can... Oh, where's the laptop? Oh, well.
Oh, where's the laptop?
Okay.
Oh, where's the
laptop?
Where's the games? I can't find
Drop
them.
some knowledge on you. No, but anyway, it's a famous quote. You can't chase two... If you chase two rabbits, you shall lose them both. So, which is, it's actually a pretty astute statement, but he talked me into following what I wanted to do, and more than being a cop, I wanted to be a medic.
That is a good, a good statement. Because I didn't have school.
I like that statement.
Yeah, I didn't have school this week, so I did two job shadowing gigs, kind of. One was with an attorney, and one was I visited a college in my city, which is one of the best schools in America for computer science. Like, they have one of the best computer science programs in America, which is my other possible interest. And it's like I can decide which one I wanted to actually, like, obviously I don't have to decide yet, but like I can't make up my mind of which one I want to do. And like these two experiences further made that more difficult, because like I got to see both and they were still both interesting. So I don't know. It's kind of tough.
Well, it was a lawyering, and what was the other one?
Computer science, like learning how to program and stuff.
See, now
software development.
I'm actually taking classes right now. I'm trying to become a computer programmer. And so
what specifically are you like focusing on?
Well, I just started. I've only got 3 classes in, and I'm at midterms in that first set, and I'm doing really well, which is cool. check out the open courseware on YouTube from MIT. You can actually watch the MIT lectures, which is also pretty cool. I want to design programs. I want to start and write the code and build the program for people to use.
Software.
Yeah,
that's the thing for me. The reason I got interested in it is because I always have, like, whether it's not even just games, but like whether it's a game or some software program or some mobile app or something, as Bonfire's train goes by, I always like, or whatever it is, I always like thought I'd really like to be, if I have these ideas, like to be able to create it myself instead of having to go to somebody else to like make it for me. Which is kind of like, I kind of started to lean towards the lawyer thing because I envisioned, like, I could, if I wanted to make some random online flash game, or if I wanted to make a mobile app or something, or anything like that, like, I could do that on the side and wouldn't have to worry about it paying my bills, or I wouldn't have to go work for some big company and not have, like, creative control. Because the biggest thing for me is that the biggest interest I have is that I wanted to, like, be able to create whatever I had in my mind, like, whatever idea I had.
Yeah.
So, which doesn't necessarily translate to being a full-time job. So, and plus, you know, if my YouTube channel was big or whatever at this time, 5 years from now, that's just an increased audience for you to market it to and make more money. So
here's the one that I thought of is a simple database searching operation, but it would make, I think it would make good money on as ad driven. But it's a simple database search. You just load the database full of tons of names, and you have narrowing criteria. So you ask, first of all, moms are going to love this because there are baby name books sell huge. And it sounds kind of silly, but almost every pregnant woman buys one. So why not have one on your phone? Why not have an app for that on your phone? Plus, you know, people can fiddle with it and come up with, what would your baby's name be? But, you know, ask like 5 basic questions, and you can, it's not a racist statement, but the first way you can break it down is into like nationality, or, you know, what nationality type feel would you like your child to have? You know, I don't want, like if you were Asian, you would probably want, Kim would be more of an option than not an option, or something to that effect. But anyway, simple database search, I think you can make not tons and tons, it's not Candy Crush, but it's an ad revenue, or it's an ad revenue, and you could get something off of it. So,
I was talking to the head of the computer science department at this college, and he's like, the 2 top fields for, as I move my hand in the right place, you can see my 2 fingers. The 2 top fields that are computer science related, as far as job security and income, are cyber defense, whether you're working for the government or a private company. They said that there's literally, like, they have excess amounts of scholarship funds that nobody's getting because not enough people go in the field. They don't have enough people to do it. And the other one was, quote, big data, which was basically 99% of data on the internet is unusable. Because, and what they said was, they gave the example of, if you uploaded a picture of a beach to Facebook and you didn't tag it as a beach or anything like that, then if someone searched on Google Images for a beach, your picture's not going to show up.
Right.
Because you haven't put anything on there to say it's a beach. Whereas if you said it was a beach, you tagged it as a beach, whatever, then it might come up in Google Images. So what they're trying to do is find programs and basically like build into AI for the computer to be able to say that that is a beach without you telling it it's a beach, so that it could come up. And other ways like that to like sort data, like, because like I said, 99% of data you can't use, whether it's people's names or random information or whatever. So they said that's the other big field, is that all these companies are trying to figure out how to use Twitter and Facebook and other crap to learn more about their customers, but nobody knows how to do it. It's kind of like the database thing you were talking about. So
interesting, very interesting.
You want to hear my app idea?
Sure.
What is your app idea? So
I just want an app. It's one of the like the party apps or whatever. One that you just put your camera up to it and everybody look at it, turns into a giant penis, different shaped penis. Have it free avenue, run ads on that. You know, as stupid as that is, people would have it.
They would too. People would get that.
No, people would take. I could see people taking screenshots of it and just posting it like on Twitter and crap. And
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
Snapchatting it.
I mean, yeah. Well, you think about like they got like one that turns you into a zombie. People love that stuff because zombies are popular.
The The
A
same
lot of people
concept applies here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Whackmed, you're the only one here with computer science ability. We need you to get on that.
Sure, I've taken half of the
class.
You're a class and a half if you consider midterms and 3. So
yeah, but one of them is customer service, and it's
what?
It's for the degree. You got to take all kinds of stuff.
Sounds like I would ace that.
Yeah, that's true.
Been there, done that. I hate that crap.
Don't want customer service class.
I couldn't do that because I can't deal with stupid people.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, stupid people are the most aggravating people by far.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Medic Chat.
Okay, so let's change topics. I have a random question. I'm going to take over Whackman's random question. It's game related, so it's completely off topic. What is one game, it could be your favorite game or whatever, that has left a lasting impression on you? That you, when you were done playing that game, you were like, oh my god.
Whackman likes guns because he plays Call of Duty, and let's move on, and everybody else.
Let's start with Maze Man. I'm sure he's a little more versed in some games.
You know, and I guess the first thing that comes to the forefront are the newer games. And I'm trying to think of some of the older games that would kind of have that nostalgia factor, you know. But I think the older games are a little bit different just because you used to play Mario, the same game every day. You didn't have more than one game. You might have had a couple of games, but you played the same game over and over again. And games didn't have the same kind of storyline and movie-type effect. Did you guys play The Walking Dead?
I have not. I'm going to do a let's
on
play.
the Xbox.
Spoiler alert.
I won't do any spoilers, but if you play all 5 of the episodes, that has a really good story. And also, just kind of where I was at my life at that point in time, it kind of really fit in. So it was, that probably had the most kind of effect on it.
Okay. That's a good one. I've heard a lot of good things about that game.
What was his name?
What?
The name of the game?
Oh, The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah. It's like an episodic series. I'm actually going to... That's my next Let's Play. I'm going to do a Let's Play of that. So.
This is a tough question.
Well, repeat the question. Like, I want to hear the
what
verbiage.
game is kind of lasting?
Yeah, so like when you got done with this particular game, you dropped the controller, you took a step back, and were just like, oh my god. Like, it just, like, it hit you, it was so good. And it left that lasting impression of you. Since you guys can't go...
Assassin's Creed 2.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and go, because that was
Elaborate.
that was like the first RPG-type free roam game I'd ever played. Okay. And it, like, I don't know, it just opened... Well, I have one more game also to mention, but because, like, when that game came out, like, I mostly just played Call of Duty and, like, sports games, or, like, the only 2 games I've really played. And then it was, like, the first game I played where it was more based on a story and more... I mean, I had played games, like, other random, like, arcade, like, Mario games and stuff on, like, the GameCube and stuff. But it was the first one that, like, really captured me into a story and allowed me to have more free control over what happened in it, which obviously led me to play all of the Assassin's Creed games and now is, you know, expanded my gaming horizons. And also Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, which you may not be familiar with. Or is anybody here familiar with that game?
I've never played it, but I know what it is.
Okay. It's pretty well known, just because, like, that game, I got it when I was, like, 7, 8 years old. I don't even remember. But I played it all a ton, even though I really kind of sucked at it, because it's more of a game where you have to kind of think. And I was, like, 7 years old. But that game, I became addicted to, like, time management / money management / simulation games, kind of, and strategy games. Like, you wouldn't consider that to be a strategy game necessarily, but, like, it kind of opened the door to that general realm of games, kind of, and it was just addictive to me for, like, several years. And then it opened up. I've played pretty much every single Tycoon game that's ever been on the market, and I played a ton of time management and money management and business simulation games, and that led me to military strategy games and stuff like that, because I wanted stuff that wasn't just point and shoot or, you know, reaction based. So that kind of started that whole thing for me as well. So.
SimCity 4? Did you play SimCity 4?
I played some of the SimCities. I'm not sure if I played that. Which one is that? Is that the most recent one?
I think... Well, the most recent one's the one that had the crash problems because it was always online.
I bought that, and I still haven't played it.
I think that's SimCity 5.
I played SimCity 3000. which was good on the PC.
Hmm.
I don't think I played that one though.
I like SimCity 4. It seemed like a really
SimCity is fun.
basic game till you run out of money. Then it sucks.
Until you raise taxes and then they start complaining and then you just spiral out of control.
It turns you into a Republican or a fiscal conservative. It tries to. So.
It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's true.
Does anybody have the new SimCity?
The one that had all the launch date problems?
Because I bought that game, and then upon buying it, I found out that basically, like, in order to accomplish anything on it, like, you can play the game and enjoy it just fine, apparently, but in order to accomplish anything, like, magnificent or outstanding or fantastic or whatever, you have to play with friends, apparently. Like, it takes a group effort. Because, like, what they do is they put you in hubs where you, like, it'll be like a 9-city hub, and you and your friends can each pick one city out of the hub, and you can, like, work on projects together and stuff. So I'm trying to find people who have that game, so if I do actually start playing it, I can do that. But which I think is stupid.
PC only, right?
It's stupid, by the way. Yeah, it's PC only. That's stupid, by the way, to make people be social on video games in order to succeed.
Yeah. People on Farmville hate that, and that's why I don't Facebook anymore.
Farmville killed Facebook.
Farmville killed Facebook.
I disagree, but that's a different discussion.
But anyways, yeah.
I still think Facebook's perfectly fine as long as you manage your own timeline well and don't fill it up with crap that you don't want to see. Because in reality, I mean, obviously there's going to be stuff you don't want to see, but if you are friends with people, the right people, and you like the right pages, you really shouldn't deal with a whole lot of aggravating stuff.
Like if someone else likes a page, you can't control what they like if they're one of your friends.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it shows up in your feed, does it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is the new Facebook app for, like, mobile phones is terrible. I really dislike it.
Which platform?
I have Apple. I have iPhone. So I don't know that version. I dislike it. I know you're an Android boy and all that, and
I'm just not an Apple. I think Apple's way overrated in so many aspects. But
Apple's the most overrated technology company in software, hardware, anything by far.
I have a question. Do you have to have? I mean, I beat the game, but beating the game wasn't that moment.
Just whatever the game is, it doesn't. I
So,
don't need roller coasters.
Obviously, less a lasting impression for you. So
Well, it's a specific cutscene, and you're right. It is from Modern Warfare 3. When you call in the air support that takes down the Eiffel Tower, and at that moment, and I want to say that's shortly after your little girl gets blown up from a different cutscene.
I can't remember.
You're walking around with your family, and the rockets come in and they blow up your wife and child. And then later on, you call in close air support, and it takes down the Eiffel Tower. And as you watch the Eiffel Tower fall, I just kind of, brushed my hands back through what's not my hair, and was like, "That's a little too real." Not that I was complaining specifically, but it hit a chord. It hit a chord. I remember 9/11 very well, and it related in. I mean, to watch the tower fall, the Eiffel Tower fall, was somehow it just worked out in my mind where those linked up, and that was a wow kind of moment.
Okay.
So.
For me, the game I dropped the controller, I walk away from was Metal Gear Solid 3. That game is probably one of my favorite games of all time. It's got one of the best stories ever. That series, by the way, have any of you played it in any Metal Gear game?
I played the original.
Like Nintendo Metal Gear?
Well, I think it was actually...
Or Metal Gear Solid 1?
Solid 1.
Okay, that's a fantastic game as well.
Yeah, where it's like 4 discs or something crazy like that.
Yeah, probably it was at the time, yeah.
Yeah, but I got away from Sony, so I kind of couldn't play the Metal Gears.
Yeah, that's fair, but I don't know. This game, the story is so complex and in depth that it's almost hard to follow, but it really makes you think, and the gameplay is phenomenal because it's a stealth game. That's what Metal Gear is all about. It's stealth, and there's some really all the bosses that you meet across the game are really unique, and you just don't see that in games, and there's some really memorable bosses. Like there's this one particular boss, and it's basically a sniper battle because he's a sniper, and you literally have to sneak up behind him and to kill him. And he moves around. He's camouflage. He's stealth, and it literally can take an hour if you aren't very good at it. But I don't know, just everything about that game, all the cutscenes are just phenomenal. And after every Metal Gear Solid game, there's always something after the credits that leads into the next one. And it's always something like really trippy and crazy about the story. And I don't know, games like that where they have stories that make you think and kind of have twists in it, I'm attracted to. I love those types of games. So that'd be my game.
Sweet.
Great series, by the way.
So it's not GTA 5?
Not yet. Again, so,
Not far enough.
yeah, I'm not far enough.
If you hear about an Oregon man who was caught hijacking a boat after crashing his jet ski, then we probably know that it's been changed to GTA 5. But until then,
So
I'm assuming you mentioned that because you want to transition to GTA 5.
I was transitioning, and to further transition, what do you think about the multiplayer coming out after the launch of the single-player campaign, whatever you call it? What would be more appropriate?
Single-player story.
Story?
I like it. Personally, I like it because Grand Theft Auto is a game where you have to invest a lot of time in the single player, and there's a lot of things you can do. So far, the story's good. To be honest, I haven't played much of the story. I've just been free roaming. Check out my series. Plug there. It's fantastic. It'll make you laugh. There's some good videos and plenty more to come, trust me. But I like it just for the fact that it gives people, it's 2 weeks, so 2 weeks from Grand Theft Auto 5's launch, they're going to announce GTA Online. That's when it's released, and it gives people the chance to get familiar with the game, to experience the campaign, the story, the characters, and all the hard work that the developers have put into that aspect of the game that might have been missed by probably quite a few people, because Grand Theft Auto Online it's huge. It's going to be really big. It's very open world. I think Oyster said it's up to 32 players, where you can just...
On current-gen consoles, it's 32 players.
That's what he said. I think it's 16, but
No, I swear I saw an article.
He saw 32.
I will try to dig out the article right now because I'm 1,000% sure.
What is
that's
Battlefield?
said.
Battlefield on console.
You can do up to 64, can't you?
Not on
Is that
console.
just PC?
Not on console.
Okay.
That's just PC. Next gen, Battlefield 4 will be up to 64.
But I thought that the consoles themselves were limited on how many people they could put together. That's why you keep seeing 6-on-6 in Call of Duty and
I'm sure
4
there
on
are.
4
I'm
and
sure
a lot
there's
of other
huge
games.
limitations on that. I think for Battlefield, it's 16 to 24 at the most. I honestly don't know. I don't know, but I like it because it gives you a chance to deal with the campaign, and then you once you're done with the campaign, then you can experience the online. I think it's a good timeline, so I like it. Anybody else? Man, you've been playing the game.
As soon as I post this link in the chat that says 32 players, I will tell you why you're wrong about it being a good thing that they're holding back the multiplayer.
I think it was strategic.
Strategic?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did that because it gives them more time to deal with bugs. Trying to deal with bugs and the single player, especially a game that's as big. And like for the Xbox, you're running it off both different drives, because they want you to install the disc. You have so many different,
Xbox, they told you not to install the disc on the Xbox.
Install the first disc.
Yeah.
Second disc,
There's a
don't
game
install.
disc and
There's
then
two
an
discs?
install disc.
Yeah, so then it reads off the hard drive and the disc at the same time and pulls twice as much information off. And so since you just have so many more times that you could have issues to throw in the multiplayer, where we know there's going to be issues with multiplayer all in the beginning, just too much. Delay it a little bit.
If we're talking about having issues on multiplayer and that being the reason, then doesn't that say that you have an incomplete game and you shouldn't have released it yet?
I don't think so. Just based on the fact that every game has bugs and they all have to have patches.
not bugs that are significant enough to push back the release of it. That's stupid.
Not all games sell as many copies as Grand Theft Auto did.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of that.
Beginning.
But still,
So, I mean,
like, if Call of Duty said, we're gonna wait 1 week to push back the multiplayer because we're having lots of out-of-map glitches.
The world would melt.
But Call of Duty is based around the multiplayer. Grand Theft
That's
Auto
why people
is
buy
not.
the game. Yeah, exactly.
But the concept of holding back the multiplayer because of glitches is the same though. Either way, like
It's not so much the glitches; it's
If
just
your
the
game-
possibility of
if your
bugs.
game isn't ready because of glitches, you shouldn't be releasing it. If there's enough bugs that you don't feel confident in releasing it, then you shouldn't release it.
See,
However,
I don't think
Bonfire-
that's why. Anyways, but go ahead.
Well, if we get to bonfires, I will shoot down both of your ideas. I've already disposed of Maze Man. Now Bonfire, you're next.
I say shoot at, not shoot down.
Yeah, I
Because
don't know.
Maze Man-
I think you missed.
Maze Man had a valid point. It's just you
It
have a
doesn't
different
make-
opinion thereof.
And my opinion is more solid than his is, and I guarantee you that Maze Man is much better than Bonfires because Bonfire I'm just about to destroy. So
Well,
Bonfire.
hey,
you
here's
said
why
the
you're going to
reason-
destroy mine, because you don't play single players. Like, take games like Call of Duty that doesn't have single players, really. No one cares about single players. That's what you predominantly play, so you're going to shoot down my single player idea.
No, I have no problem with single player games. I enjoy lots
Okay,
of single
continue,
player games,
continue.
and it has nothing to do with my preference as a gamer.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
the reason that you're wrong is because you're basically saying that they delayed the multiplayer because they want people to play the single player and experience that before they jump into multiplayer, because they think that once multiplayer is out, that's mainly what people are going to play. Am I summarizing your argument relatively correctly?
Yes, relatively correctly.
Okay, so why GTA is made by Rockstar, right? Just to
Yep.
make sure I don't screw up. Okay, why should Rockstar try to sway people to play the game that they want them to play the game? Why should Rockstar restrict what parts of the game people can play? Why should they decide, we want you to play single player first so that you can get the full experience, so we're not going to let you play multiplayer? How come they make the decision? If some people want to do that, then that's fine, but if some people want to jump in and just play multiplayer right away, why should the developer not allow them to do that because the developer wants to make them play the single player instead?
Why wouldn't they?
Because
All the
if
time
I
and
pay
money that's been put into
if I
this
pay
game?
$60, if I pay $60 for the game, then they get my $60, and I should be able to play the game how I want to play it. You shouldn't restrict how I can play it because you think I need to experience it differently than the way I want to experience it.
Then there's no multiplayer. How would you like that?
I mean, that's not my point
For
though.
the longest time, GTA didn't have multiplayer.
If I'm saying, if you're gonna have multiplayer as part of the game, and you know lots of people are gonna want to play multiplayer, you should release it when the game comes out, because you shouldn't say, well, in our opinion, we think you should play the single player first, so we're gonna make you play the single player first. I
Unfortunately,
have a problem with that.
the suits are making the decisions on here. It's
I'm aware of
a
that.
monetary, political side of corporate business.
I disagree. I think if it were monetary and all they cared about was money, then they would let people play whatever they wanted as soon as they got the $60. Because once they get the $60 for the game, then it doesn't matter what they play.
Why do people buy Grand Theft Auto?
I
It's not for
haven't-
the multiplayer. Therefore, this isn't an issue. People buy Grand Theft Auto for the single-player campaign and the things you can do within that game. Hence why this game has sold over $1 billion since its release.
I'm saying in
So
principle.
therefore,
in principle.
sure, in principle, okay.
In principle, the idea of the game developer trying to force people to play the game the way they want them to, and restricting parts of the game for periods of time because they think people should play the game a certain way when they don't have to, is wrong to me.
So take this. Now take Call of Duty's campaign. You can consider that a linear shooter. They're
Sure.
making you do things you want to do within that campaign. You have no freedom, no choice within playing that campaign.
Okay.
The developer's making you play a certain way. That's no different than Grand Theft Auto.
No.
It's
if
no
I-
different than the
that
developer
is
saying, we want you to play the
absolutely-
campaign.
That is absolutely different. That is absolutely different because if
The game is
Call
meant
of
to
Duty-
be played a certain way, and they're saying
if
this
Call
is
of
how you play
Duty,
it.
if Call of Duty was a single, first of all, I can put my Call of Duty disc in and I can choose to not play the single player at all. That's my point. is if I don't want to play the single player, I don't have to be forced to play the single player by the developer. Whereas in GTA, unless you want to wait 2 weeks to buy the game, you have to only play single player before they'll let you play multiplayer.
I think you had to quit comparing it to Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They're just two different beasts.
Sure.
If I knew that that's what the Call of Duty campaign is, which I know that's what it is, then if I buy the game to play the campaign, I know that that's what I'm getting into. It's not a situation where I'm expecting something different and they force me to do something else.
So
I think there's nothing wrong. Go ahead, Blackman.
The first time I ever saw Blu-ray, I went over to a coworker's house and they put on Cars, movie Cars, on Blu-ray, high-def TV, big high-def TV, really nice one, and I saw Cars. If you've never seen Cars on Blu-ray, you're missing out. Okay, there's dust particles that you don't see on DVD. There are reflections in the paint of the cars that you don't see on DVD. The statement that I made after watching, or after actually just even getting into that movie, was, why would they even release this movie on DVD? You can't see this stuff in the theater, because that's what the kids see in the theater. You can't even see this detail in the theater. Why would they put it on the silver screen? Why would you create such an in-depth movie with dust part? It was revolutionary at the time. This was years ago. It was really cool.
It also has really cool cheesy kitty writing and storylines, but anyways, it's another reason to see it.
But the video graphics are only best experienced on Blu-ray. Why would the developer of that movie, the artist, allow their movie to be played with substandard or anything less than exactly what they wanted the audience to see? Why would a game be released unless with any kind of delay in anything, unless that's what they wanted it to be? I consider the multiplayer in Grand Theft Auto coming out late to be no different than a DLC anything for anything else.
That's a bad analogy.
Why is that? I mean, it's an add-on to the game because it doesn't come with the game.
Because the whole Blu-ray thing, because some people may want to enjoy the experience of going to the movie theater.
It's not about the people.
As opposed to,
it's not about the people.
Some people may want to go see it at the movie theater. Some people may not. Some people may not own a Blu-ray player. What if I don't own a Bluray player?
Then you don't get to watch it at all.
Well, that's a very stupid business move then.
Possibly.
And nobody would be dumb enough to do that because you're just cutting
but it's their choice.
If I make a AAA video game and I say I'm only releasing this on the Wii, then I've just cut out so many of my sales. For what reason? Because it's made for the Wii.
And yet developers do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's stupid.
Well, that's an opinion though, and we're talking about what's going on.
Well, never mind. It's stupid. It's stupid if you're looking for sales. If it's stupid in the sense that it hurts your sales. However, it's still not the same as saying we're gonna release this game and we're gonna. I guess the reason I don't have a problem with the fact that they're delaying the multiplayer as much as why. I think if the reason they're delaying the multiplayer is because they want to make people play the single player first, I think that's kind of dumb. If they were delaying the multiplayer because it wasn't ready, I'd even be better off with that, or for whatever other reason. Or they just wanted to build up hype for some reason or something. I don't know. But if the reason for it is because they're trying to force people to play the game in a way that they might not want to play before they can play it the way they really want to play, then that, I don't know.
I almost wish that Call of Duty did that because I still haven't. Have you finished Black Ops 2 campaign yet?
I finished every campaign within the first week of the game it came out since Call of Duty 2. So.
And I would have too if the multiplayer was delayed by a week.
Well, that's up to you for choosing what you want to play and time management, though.
That's
like
true.
I usually pretty much just split like between the two for the first until I finish the campaign. I usually just play some multiplayer, and then if none of my friends are on or if I'm bored of multiplayer for a while, I'll play campaign. I mean, it's up to you though. It's not up to the developer to decide how you're playing the game. If you pay $60 for it, you should be able to play it how you want to. And if you buy GTA5 and all you want to do is play multiplayer, well then you just bought it and you can't play the way you want to play until.
If you're buying GTA5 just for the multiplayer, you're not buying it till October 1st. Period.
Yeah,
and if you're mad about that, that's your own problem.
I feel like that's saying that you bought Assassin's Creed just for the multiplayer.
Exactly.
No, absolutely not.
Is there anybody who's plays GTA 5 just for the multiplayer?
If you are that person, leave a link in the description
Yes,
down
please
below.
let me know.
I haven't
Let's
heard
have a conversation.
say that they're not enjoying the story mode of the single player, and I haven't heard anybody say they only buy it for the multiplayer.
Yeah, that's because Grand Theft Auto was it's meant to be played as a single player story game. That's where the most of time and development went into.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's bad for
There's
the developer
so much
to
you
hold
can
back
do
on
in the multiplayer. They're like, as someone who's never played a GTA game until GTA 5, which I'll be getting in the next couple days probably.
Oh, so you're not even playing the game that you're so harshly criticizing?
I got haters just like you.
Excuse me. I don't recall. I don't recall.
Your point is mute.
I don't
That's
recall
it.
ever
That's
criticizing the game. Did I ever say anything bad
No,
about
you
the game
did. You
itself?
criticized the developer, not the
Okay,
game.
then. Thank you. I never said
I don't
anything
know how
negative
you
about the
criticize
game.
a developer because Rockstar is one of the top developers.
Even though they
Look
have
at their
massive
track record.
restrictions on YouTube content. Okay, but
Then why
anyways.
aren't you drinking
They
that
have
energy
story
drink instead of
content.
They lifted all of my little third-party content claims that they did on mine.
They've still got lots of restrictions that make it kind of a minefield to navigate. But anyways, if I could finish my original point,
Yes,
as
please
someone
do.
who's never
I'm
played GTA,
excited.
as somebody who's never played GTA, the idea of playing multiplayer with my friends and doing random crazy stuff with my friends and being able to upload YouTube videos of me playing with my friends is more enticing to me as someone who has never played GTA 5 than playing the story. Because the way I see it, and I could be completely wrong because I never played the game, and you'll probably tell me I'm completely wrong, but why would I want to free roam around the world doing crazy stuff by myself instead of doing it with my friends?
Because the story is so good. I mean, you play
maybe
different
the story
characters.
will suck me in, but I'm saying
I think it will.
that I think you guys purely based on the amount of YouTube content I've seen from the past GT, I guess the last one was GTA 4 or whatever. Most of the YouTube content I saw throughout that game's life cycle was multiplayer, not single player. I saw more people doing random shenanigans videos like you do with their friends than I saw people doing Let's Plays or doing single player missions. So that tells me that it's more entertaining and more fun to play multiplayer.
In
For
the 4
YouTube.
weeks of its launch, though?
For YouTube. YouTube is all about multiplayer gameplays.
Yeah.
No? When's the last time PewDiePie played a multiplayer game?
Who gives a
He's
shit
got-
about
He's
people?
got
kidding me?
the highest subscribed channel on YouTube.
Great.
For anybody, not just gamers, for anybody. He's got
I
the
know,
most
I-
subscribers.
I don't even understand
And
it.
Really, if he has 13 million subscribers and you're saying that it's all about multiplayer and he doesn't do multiplayer, then 13 million people are wrong in your estimation. Or not wrong, but they're not watching
the
everybody
majority of
else watch.
people who upload gameplays, it's multiplayer. Am I
Yes.
wrong with that?
No, you're not
Yeah.
wrong, because the majority of people, 50% of YouTube uploads are made up of Minecraft, FIFA,
Oh, don't
and
be
Call
making
of
up
Duty.
statistics. You
That's
can't
what
make
he
up
does. He makes
statistics.
up
I don't have to
Statistics
make
here,
up the
free Mars
statistics
You just
because I
did.
guarantee I don't have
Pull
to
a number
do-
out of your ass.
I guarantee that that's accurate though. At
probably
least
not.
half the
Legend of
videos.
StarCraft by higher than Minecraft. We don't
League of
talk about
Legends,
that.
League of Legends and StarCraft is all on streaming. The amount of
It's
League
crazy.
of Legends. Yeah, but it's not on YouTube. It's on Twitch. It's on streaming.
It's anywhere you want it.
No. If you ask anybody who's involved in the League of Legends scene, where a vast majority of the content is, it's on Twitch.
They have
Right.
like 175,000 people on it one time.
I'm aware,
Yeah.
but we're talking
Shit.
about nearly they don't do videos nearly as much as they do streams. But I guarantee you, if we were to look up the statistics, because this is 3-bar exploits and we have statistics,
Not made up ones.
I
Right?
would guarantee you that 50% or more of YouTube uploads in the gaming sector are Call of Duty, Minecraft.
now it's Call of Duty and Minecraft. Okay.
That's what I said. That's
I'll
what
give
I
him a
originally
break.
said.
Come on,
That's what you want to replay when this video gets uploaded. Watch it. I said Call of Duty, Minecraft, and FIFA. That's
didn't hear
exactly
that.
what I said.
Why don't you just
I didn't
name
hear that
the
either.
top, the
Continue.
biggest games out there?
That's my point. Is that there's there's thousands of games that have been made, and people watch 3 of them, and now 4 with GTA. That's my original point. And those games are all based on multiplayer. Minecraft is a game you play with your friends. Call of Duty is a game where multiplayer is most important. FIFA is a game where you play against other people and play multiplayer. GTA 5, for YouTube, will be a game where people focus on multiplayer once the multiplayer is out. So saying that multiplayer is what people upload is because, or what people watch, that's because that's all anybody uploads.
Now, when GTA 4 first came out, because I was watching YouTube at that time, it wasn't multiplayer. It was all story mode. Now it's all multiplayer. Did you try playing the multiplayer when GTA 4 first came out? No,
He hasn't played it.
I don't know.
I tried it when it first came out. It was
when it
hard.
first came out, multiplayer did not work in GTA 4.
It was
Didn't
hard.
work.
I didn't even know how to do it.
But
Okay, so your argument is that there's no multiplayer content because the multiplayer for the game was non-functioning. That's
I
a great
tried
argument.
playing
That's a
with
solid argument.
exactly my point.
So you're saying
it didn't work
Yeah,
when it first came
but-
out.
So that's not a good argument, though. If you're saying that, nobody uploaded multiplayer because the multiplayer sucked. So if the multiplayer is good, people are going to upload multiplayer. If the multiplayer sucks, they're not going to upload it.
Hey, you already decided you're not going to change your mind on your opinion. We're not going to change our minds. Let's hop on to something else.
I consider that a concession, so I win. Let's move on.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
you're going to have a rough time, man.
it wasn't me this time. It wasn't me.
Let's just say, when you get Grand Theft Auto, play the single player campaign.
I will play
the
the
way the
single
game
player.
was meant to be played.
He's
I will
playing
play both.
devil's advocate.
I will play both.
He always does that. That's his role in the show.
I'd like to announce Tactical Oyster is now 33-0 in 3-bar exploits arguments.
I didn't know we were keeping
that.
track,
He's
but
up
okay.
to 20. He's up to 20. He's up to 20.
That's another one of those made-up statistics.
Yeah.
29 concession victories because the opponent did not want to continue.
I
Because
got
he
a whole video. Never mind.
I'm picking him
No,
apart.
stay it. You've already said it.
I got a whole
You've already-
video where I raped you because you lied. I win.
What
won that.
argument was this?
The
What argument was
PS4.
this?
The PS4 argument.
Which one?
The one that I did the PS4 rage on.
But what did I say in that? And
I
what
don't
did
even
you
remember.
say?
I just know that I
See, I don't
won
even
because
remember.
I'm making that up, so it's okay. You can make up
Excuse me,
statistics.
my
I can make up
statistics are
arguments
real.
that I win.
My statistics are real. My
Okay,
statistics
let's
are
move on.
real. I'm 33-0 on this show.
Yep.
I'm
And I'm
approaching
20.
Mayweather territory.
So let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay.
You're just jealous of my arguing skills, but anyways.
I think you would make a fantastic lawyer because you can argue until you die. You're a very good debater, I will give you that. However, you're wrong about GTA.
Yeah, which normally lawyers that are wrong don't go far.
I've seen so many people upload
I disagree.
just
but okay.
weird stuff on GTA 5, though. I mean, Bondfire had an awesome BMX,
That was
pseudo
pretty good.
BMX that was trying to do a 360 or something. That was funny. I mean, that was solid funny. I saw another YouTuber uploaded a short, and I like the short clips from GTA. I mean, if anybody cares that I watch, they're going to be the shorter ones. But this guy uploaded where he's driving around and there's deer running beside him, and some car hits a deer. That was his reaction to that was funny. I'm not saying that the deer getting hit by a car was funny, but his reaction to that was
Yeah,
funny.
Whack Med, because animal rights groups are not going to hate you because you just said that. You
I
just said it was
really
funny.
could care less what any animal rights group thinks about any.
PETA is gonna flag your
PETA
channel.
could get folded up and eaten in a chicken burrito, and I could care less.
PETA's
I
gonna
love
flag your
eating chicken. Anyways.
I love killing deer. I'm gonna do it all winter long.
Yes.
I hunt.
PETA's your channel's dead, man. PETA's, I mean,
Bring
they're
it,
gonna
PETA.
flag. They're gonna flag your channel so many times. YouTube's gonna have no choice but to give you a strike, man. Now, I feel bad for you now because you've made a bad enemy.
If they're gonna
Those people
flag
are
anyone, it's
insane.
gonna be me on my hunting video when I actually go out hunting for animals in Grand Theft Auto.
Those people are insane, man.
Yes,
they are
they
insane. Mm.
They are insane. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, let's move on. Anyway, Grand Theft Auto was a fantastic game. If you haven't bought it, I don't know who you are because it sold so many copies. And
Yeah,
we're
that
moving
was
on.
really surprising.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think it is.
I
Really?
Yeah.
Because I saw Grand Theft Auto stuff, and I'm like, whoa.
Well, you haven't had a good experience with it, I guess. And you said you only played the first one?
I only played the first one where you're doing the top-down view, and you run around like Duke Nukem looking kind of character.
Because see, it all changed in Grand Theft Auto 3, which basically changed Grand Theft Auto for what it is right now. And I mean, it's a lot different. It's a third-person view, not the top-down view.
Okay.
And you can do so much stuff. I mean, in Grand Theft Auto 5, no spoilers, of course, but you do heists in the game. That's one of the big premises of it.
I got Payday.
Yes, this makes Payday look like crap. Let's put it that way.
That's so harsh.
No, I love Payday. I think Payday's a fantastic game. I love that game.
You did a pretty good job of making Payday look like crap in your review of it. So
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to be honest, and that game has flaws and issues and problems. That game has problems. It could be.
So I guess they should have delayed the release of it because they had bugs. Right?
They should have sped up the patch of it. The thing is, a lot of this stuff, you can run simulators on it, but until you have a testing of your best product by 3 million people, you're not going to know what you can learn after 3 million people play with it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, when you have so many people playing multiplayer and playing the type of game, there's going to be random different people finding exploits. And
right.
I think bringing it back to Call of Duty, that's a perfect example. People exploit different weapons, they exploit different maps, different things within the game. Go ahead.
I want to say Bondfire actually said right after the launch of Black Ops that we had no idea people even it wasn't Bondfire, it may have been the other guy. It was said that we would never have thought to have done this, and
exactly.
It was done.
Yeah, because you have so many different people playing the game. There's so many different aspects of playing it. They're going to find all these different exploits of the game, and then that's when the patch comes out to make it that much better. So I mean, every game's going to have bugs.
Actually, how quickscoping was invented. They had no idea people were going to try to quickscope, and now it's whole subsection of.
So it's like whole clan.
And it should be killed.
Mm-hmm.
It is, apparently.
For the good of the community.
Yes.
Where do you stand on that, Maze Man?
I am against quickscoping, but
what about worming?
Worming? The worm?
When
the guys all post all that stuff up and hide behind it and stuff like that? You know, I play mostly objective-based stuff, so that doesn't really bug me as much. I don't run into it as much. The quickscoping...
Come play with me, dude.
You worm a lot?
Yeah, you stand over a demolition bomb and worm. You stand over
earlier today. It was awesome.
You stand over a demolition bomb and just straight hose people until they figure out what you're doing.
Oh no, I play a lot of league play. I don't even play a lot of the regular pubs.
Oh, it has no place in league play.
No, and I guess that's why, just because you get more of the serious, more competitive
I'll be back.
people on there. And I'm glad that they've taken it out of Ghost, but they still said it's going to be a viable option. So I'm wondering what the exact mechanics are going to be.
Yeah, I honestly, I think some people will figure out some way to do it. Cause I don't know.
They'll figure out a replacement. If not, they'll figure out a replacement for it.
That's exactly right. Because like some of the bigger YouTubers, like one of my favorites is Gold Glove. When he got to go to the Call of Duty multiplayer reveal and he uploaded some gameplays that he did of that, I watched him with the sniper rifle. And granted, I know that's like probably an alpha or beta version of the multiplayer, but he was pretty close to doing some quick scopes when he was using that sniper.
There were a couple phase members that went to it, or at least one phase member who went to the reveal, and they quick scoped just fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, they say he did admit it felt a lot different and it was more challenging, but they were still able to do it. Now, granted, those are the best people in the world at it, but still.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. People, I've heard this. I think it was either on Twitter or somewhere online where I've read that they talked about with Modern Warfare 3 they were going to take out Last Stand. Instead, they replaced it with Dead Man's Hand. So I don't know.
Robert Bowling said in front of
front of
an audience of thousands of people, F Last Stand, and then what do we get in the game? We get Final Stand as a death streak.
Exactly.
That's why I don't trust anything Infinity Ward says.
Maybe.
I'm sure that quickscoping will be as easy as ever, just based on that track record. Of course, Robert Bowling's not there anymore, but
I completely agree with you.
Makes you wonder, did he never even see any gameplay of his own game before he said that? Because obviously he would have, like, I would like to think if he knew Final Stand was in the game, he wouldn't have said that, because it's wrong. But whatever. Yeah. I feel the quick-scoping community is by far, and the sniping community is by far the worst part of the Call of Duty community. That is here as far as aggravation and immaturity, and whatever the second is, it's here. Like, it's by far the worst.
Trolling, but you don't run into it as much, so...
No.
Yeah, I would go quick-scoping then.
No, quick-scoping is so much worse than trolling.
That's why I said quick-scoping trolling.
Yeah, I was agreeing.
Quick-scoping.
Oh, no, okay, I thought you were saying trolling was worse than quick-scoping.
No, trolling would be at 2, 3, in the top 5. I actually think that worming should be on that list as things of aggravation, even though it's got so many more flaws.
I think it'd be like a 5 in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it should be on the list because it's a pretty aggravating thing to do, to be on one side of. Like if you can quick scope, sure, quick scoping is not a problem, and I can quick scope a little bit, and I know Oyster's much better at it, but he doesn't do it, and I don't do it, and it's not because we can't. It's more because I mean I don't do it more often because I can't, but it's more because it's not the way the game was meant to be played. It's not the way I want to play the game, and I don't want anybody else to do it too. Like, really, you get 3 people sniping in a game, and more people move to sniping. So I get a shotgun.
I don't consider worming to be in the top 5 because you don't. The thing about a worm, somebody's worming, is that they're completely two things. One, they're completely stationary.
Yep.
So you can completely just not go in that area of the map, and you don't ever have to deal with them.
Right.
Or 2, you can flank them and come behind them because their shield covers up, in reality, 20% of the area you can shoot them in.
Mm-hmm.
So they're easy to kill unless if they're in an open area, you can flank them. If they're sitting in a room, you just don't go in that room. So I don't consider worms to be a big issue to me. Trolling is bad because trolling went from being something that was fun to something where you were getting, when the whole let's get somebody's mom on the mic thing became popular. No. That's when I stopped, because I actually was into trolling for a while. I think most people were into trolling at least for a while. But then once they started doing that crap, it's like now you're just making people who are just ill-informed of what you're talking about look stupid, which is not cool. But quickscoping's still worse.
I agree. Trolling is just bad pranks. And when I see someone, I was actually subscribed to someone. I'm not going to name them, but
put it in the chat just because I'm curious. But keep talking.
Okay. So I was subscribed to this person, and actually, I think I talked to him, on Xbox Live and stuff, and it was a couple months ago. I watched one of his videos, and it ended up he was trolling. And what it was is he was on the chat, just like in the lobby chat, and he started talking about, he's like he got his girlfriend pregnant, and then he said. He acted like his girlfriend called her, and then he acted like that the girlfriend's father was going to start beating her and he needed to leave. And I was just like, and at the very end he said, "Oh, I just trolled you guys." But you see, it's very elaborate. He goes into detail, and it's like, to me, that's not something to joke about. Mm. That particular topic. And I'm just like, really? That's what you do for views? Is you do these stupid trolls? I mean, that's what they are. They're stupid trolls. Their pranks gone way too far, and it just adds to you can't believe anyone in Call of Duty. And I think it's this guy right here. But anyways,
it's a heck of a
I know that's a heck of a statement, but I feel like because those types of people exist, they ruin it for everyone else.
Right. I uploaded one trolling video in the whole history of my channel out of 250 something videos. And the reason I did it was to get views, because at that time trolling was the hot thing. Like Minnesota Burns' channel was blowing up, and he's kind of been the face of trolling the whole time. And it's like I don't know. I wanted to try it to see if the views worked for me, and it did. It's got several hundred views at this point, and it wasn't even a good troll. Basically, all I did was I sent out a mass message to people saying I found some out of the map glitch or something on Modern Warfare 3, and then somebody bit. and they came into my lobby, and then I told them that I was some Microsoft employee or some crap that was not even believable. Somehow this person was stupid enough to believe it, because I'm obviously not even old enough to work for a company like that. I said I was going to ban their account or whatever. And then after I did it, I'm like, this isn't even that funny, really. And I still uploaded it. Like, I actually did it with a friend of mine. And then I actually said, I don't really want to upload this. But then my friend was like, oh, we spent all that time trying to get somebody to do it and whatever. So I ended up uploading it. But then, like, I'm like, this isn't even that funny. And then the kind of people that I like who troll, like KYR Speedy, if you guys have watched him, he does trolls where they just, like, screw around in matches and they, like, do just random, kind of like, for lack of a better analogy, like GTA shenanigans type stuff, but in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And that's like, quote, trolling, but it's much more entertaining. I think as soon as trolling becomes joking someone, then
is that trolling?
Good. Well, it depends what your definition of trolling is.
So let's get a working definition of trolling then, I guess.
I think the original... Okay,
what's your working definition of trolling?
Yeah, we need your input here, buddy.
Of trolling? I would say trolling anybody would be doing something to... I don't want to say impair their gaming, but to try pulling any kind of prank or change or alter their gaming experience to try being in a humorous manner. I think a lot of people miss that mark, though.
Okay.
It's a pretty good definition.
So if your entire... If you and your 5 teammates get into a lobby and you're all doing something together that's not normal, would that be trolling?
I guess it depends on what it is. To me, I find very few trollings to be funny trolls. Most of them are almost a bully troll. Locking the guy in the corner so he can't get out.
Yes, absolutely.
Just being an asshole, shooting the gun in the air the whole time.
Yep.
To me, that's not funny. I like to see, like, for a while there, Minnesota stuff was... His stuff was fun.
Good. It was really
even
good
though
for a while.
Most of it was scripted, the other person was in on it a lot of the times. Yep. It was entertaining. And a good troll is entertaining, and to me, at the end of it, whoever got trolled is not upset at the end of it to make it a good troll.
If your definition of trolling is to affect someone's gaming experience for comedy, if you don't throw the word negatively affect in there, then I think like someone like KR Speedy, like an example would be that they would get a whole team and search and destroy, a full team of 6 and search and destroy. And as soon as the round started, they would sprint with like Ghost, Dead Silence, like as stealthily as possible. They'd sprint across the map to the other team's spawn, and they'd stand in the other team's spawn, looking like they had just spawned there. Then the other team would look around for a while, and they would come back and see like that they had spawned, and then they would tell the people in the chat that it glitched and they had like delayed spawn in their spawn or something like that. And it's like I consider that to be a troll because it's actually pretty funny once you hear the reactions. But I consider that to be like a troll because you're like screwing with the people's mind. You're like trying to trick them, but it's not like it's negatively affecting them. It's not like it's ruining their gaming experience. If you trap someone, I've seen people who like get a swarm in a care package and then they trap that person in a corner and steal the care package. It's like you're just being a jerk. Like that person, what if that person's never gotten a swarm before and they're not good enough to get a swarm? Like you're just ruining that person's day. And
so I want to modify our working definition to be to upset people purposefully. If you're purposefully trying to upset someone, either make them mad, make them sad, make them, distraught in any way, if you're trying to piss them off, if you upset people purposefully, you're trolling. Let's use that definition. And because I used to like to watch Hidden Masters, I think is what they went by. Like as many of them as possible would get in. This was during Modern Warfare 3. They like hide in the map, and they're usually in the foliage areas, and get the camo to match. And they would go get one kill or whatever, and they just go hide. Like I saw them do it on Terminal. They sat in
I think I've watched those people before. These
copycats. They were good. They were really skillful at hiding and not being found. That was, and I don't really consider that trolling because they're not really upsetting people purposefully as much as it is they're not playing the objective or not doing something, this, that, and the other. Like the teams where all 6 people are worming or all 6 are quick scoping, I don't consider that to be any different than all 6 people using submachine guns. So what? But
yeah.
Trolling's just, I mean, it's most people that watch, and this is not a statistic I have a number for, but it is truth. And most people that watch YouTube for gaming are a very young crowd, and trolling's a juvenile thing to do, so it fits up pretty well with what people may be searching for.
Yeah.
Final thought, trolling went from being something that was funny and creative and like friendly pranks to people that didn't make anybody mad and everybody was all cool at the end, to pretty much, like Maze Man I think said, to basically bullying people and making people look stupid with like getting someone's mom on the mic and telling them that their kid got banned from Xbox or something, and you don't know what's going to happen to that kid after they get off the mic because their parent just got mad at him or something. And there was some story, I don't know if you guys heard, DJ Keemstar made this whole thing popular, this story when these dudes acted like they were in phase, and they tricked like this 9-year-old kid into thinking he got into phase, and this kid went out and bought like a Microsoft point card to change his name and stuff, and then when he got back from the store, he bought this card, they told him it was a troll, and he like started crying and stuff because he just wasted his money and went and wasted his time and changed his name. And then it ended up being good because DJ Keemstar got like real phase members to come play with the kid. But like that kind of stuff, like I don't know, it just ruined the whole idea of trolling. Really,
so what about coaches in schools that troll their own football teams? Like today, FAMU got beat 76-0 by, was it Ohio State or Oklahoma State?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. 76-0. FAMU walks up there and gets just slaughtered.
Florida A&M, by the way.
Florida A&M University. And at the same time, Florida State had Bethune-Cookman, who is supposed to be like the best FCS team at the moment, or one of the best FCS teams at the moment, come into town, and we beat them handily as well. But I mean,
now, is it the coach or is it the?
I was leaving that open.
Okay, because
I was leaving that open.
I wouldn't think it's more or less the coach. I would think it's the
athletic director.
Athletic director, yeah, that's what I was thinking of, because they're in charge of. I would say more so in charge of the schedule and negotiating with different schools on who to play and those types of contracts, if you will. So I would say it's more them, and the coach just kind of has to roll with it and try to pep talk his team into taking one up the
Division II teams, and I know it's called FCS now. I call it Division II because that's what it simplifies it. It makes it easier. Division II teams should not be able to play Division I teams. To me, it's the equivalent of like a AAA baseball team. If a AAA baseball team went and played a Major League Baseball team, you wouldn't count that as a real game on the schedule. And that's essentially what it is. FCS teams are teams with less scholarships. They have not as good coaching staffs, not as good facilities, not as good technology to assist their players. They have less talented players most of the time, and they have just not as much resources at their disposal, and they have worse teams and worse programs. And the reason they play these games is so they can get a paycheck, because the big school pays the little school to play the game, so that the little school can make some money and the big school gets a free win. The reason that this became a topic is because this week 4, I think is this week,
yeah.
Unless I lost count, is always the week where there's no, like, there literally was not a single college football game that really caught my attention. I said, I want to schedule my day around watching this game this week.
Notre Dame, Michigan State.
No, I could care less. There's usually at least one, like Alabama in Texas A&M, or another big SEC matchup, or a big Pac-12 game, or just anything, or a big non-conference match, or two big non-conference games. But there was nothing this week, and that's because week 4, most teams haven't started conference play yet. They'll start it in week 5, so they don't want to get anybody injured, or they don't want to risk a loss, or they want to just kind of coast in with some momentum, and then they schedule teams that they have no business playing.
Yep.
And I don't know, I don't understand why if your football program cannot self-sustain without playing against a team that's way out of your league, that you're going to get destroyed by, that and to me it's a safety thing. Like, in reality, not to mention the talent level of the players, but the size and strength and speed of the players. Some Florida State defensive end, he could end the career of a Bethune-Cookman quarterback easily, based on the size and the speed coming at him that he's not usually going to be playing against. And I think if you can't self-sustain your program, you shouldn't have a program if you have to get paychecks to lose games. It's like taking a dive in a fight to me, basically.
Just to throw out something real from ESPN, Ohio State 76 FAMU 0, Louisville 72, Florida International 0.
Florida International is Division I think, but
And
they
don't
same
say.
concept though.
Yep, exactly.
Ohio 38, Austin Pay. Is that right? PA?
Austin, I think it's Austin P. I don't know though.
I think it's
30,
P.
38,
Whatever.
Nobody cares.
38-0.
Whoa!
Washington.
Any Austin P graduates watching? We did not mean that. We welcome you. Anyways, keep going.
Is Idaho State down there? Washington 56, Idaho State 0.
Oh yeah, Idaho State's like Division 12.
There was another one that I saw that was pretty big.
Oh God, Idaho
Florida
State.
State. What was Florida State's score?
Miami beat Savannah State 77-7.
Florida State 54,
Good God.
Bethune-Cookman 6, Baylor 70, Louisiana Monroe 7. I mean,
Louisiana
this is
Monroe beat Wake Forest last week, so I don't consider that one to be a big talent gap. But anyways,
yeah. Mississippi State 62, Troy 7. I mean, this is how. I mean, this is a very prevalent thing to do. This is not.
Yeah.
You know, and what it is Oyster had it right. They're paying for this win because what did Florida A&M got like $500,000?
$900,000.
$900,000.
900.
Basically, you got $1 million paycheck to lose a game. It's like a prize fighter going in the ring and getting knocked out on a random weak punch because they're getting paid to do it. It's stupid. Anyways, I'll stop talking, but it's aggravating to me.
Why do you think? What do you think the root of the cause is?
I think the root of the cause is the FBS system.
The FBS or the
like this.
BCS system?
I'm sorry, yes, you're right, the BCS system. And the fact that if you take a loss at any point in the season, you are no longer a national championship contender unless you're Alabama, apparently.
Not even national.
Well,
it's just to get in those BCS games is so much extra money that they don't want to risk.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the FCS teams need that money to fund their program, and that I won't go as far as you did and say that you're out of national championship contention if you lose a game, because there have been 1-loss and even 2-loss teams that have made it to the championship. But taking a loss is, as the plane goes over us, taking a loss is significantly hampers your chances of having a nationally relevant season. I mean, you can make it with 1 loss, but
but that's only
infinitely harder.
almost every other single top team has a loss.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
But
for example, last year, if Kent State wouldn't have lost, or K-State, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
Kansas State, K-State, if they wouldn't have lost, they would have been in the national title game versus Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, because they were
you're right.
But because they lost out of it completely, and
Right.
since Notre Dame is the only undefeated team, who else is the favorite? I don't know, Alabama. So they get the game, even though there were plenty of other good teams out there. They were with 1 loss.
Did Oregon have 1 loss? Because
Oregon had 1 loss.
that's the only reason you're making this argument, but okay.
Well, no, you say that with any team. I would say that with any team, K-State included. K-State had a fantastic team last year.
In reality, the reason that it's a problem with the BCS is because the fact that only 2 teams get in means that if you're undefeated, you're guaranteed to get in basically, unless when it's a rare situation where there's 3 undefeated teams, which has happened, but it's
happened
rare.
twice recently.
And then basically, if you're a 1-loss team that's not in the SEC, you're screwed. Because the SEC championship game has now become a national semifinal. Let's just be honest.
That's exactly
You want me to
right.
go ahead and piss people off? SEC's
very
most
stupid.
overrated conference in all of college football.
Whoa, that's
It's
a big
still,
statement.
it's still, it's. I agree that it's overrated, but it's still the best.
Yeah, I think you guys are looking at too drilled down and only looking at the national championship game, though. There's big money in any of the 5 BCS games. That's what they're really aiming for. Are these
Here's what I
non-traditional powerhouses getting into one of those games? Completely changes everything for your whole conference because they split it all.
Yeah.
So it's huge for the conference.
What I don't get is why do you have to play that down? Why do you have to play Savannah State? If you're Florida State last year, why do you have to play Savannah State? Like, you could at least play a team that's going to be competitive, not competitive in that they might beat you, but a team that's at least in Division I or a solid, Virginia Tech, for example, today, they played Marshall. And it's a kind of a bad example because, like Wake Forest, this year. Wake Forest will probably be about 55th ranked in the power rankings for FCS because they suck. And I say that because North Dakota State, an example of North Dakota State, the FCS team that's won the last 2 championships, they said on ESPN today that if they were in Division I, that they would be ranked 55th in the country. So they're pretty good. But it kind of ruins it because like a team like that could play a Division I team probably. But like at least play someone who's in the same level as you, like play like a Marshall, like Virginia Tech play, like someone who's in Division I, and they're not gonna beat you unless you play badly, but at least it's not a joke.
Well, I think another point is that there's not enough teams to go around like that without closing down the length of the season, because everybody played this week except for the handful of teams that have bye weeks. Everybody played this week, and they all played somebody different than they're going to play next week. Nobody has a repeat team on their schedule, being my point.
There's plenty of teams to go around.
There's over 110 Division I teams.
I think it's up to like 100 and almost 130 now because they've added like 6 or 7 teams the last 2 or 3 years.
They used to have it where you couldn't play a Division II school and still be eligible.
The way that it might still be this way, but like as far as bowl eligibility goes, and you have to win 6 games to be eligible to play in a bowl, wins against FCS teams did not count as one of those 6. So if you had 6 wins, but one of them was against a Division II team, then you weren't bowl eligible. I don't know if that's still how they do it, but they used to do it that way.
Well, it's changing.
I think it is still that way.
It's changing in the future. There will be next year. There's going to be some kind of small playoff system. Do you know anything about that, Maze Man?
Or 4-game playoff. Excuse me.
You sound like you're up on this.
4 team. I think it's 4 team.
Is it 4 team or 4 game?
I think it's 4
It's
team.
4 teams.
Okay.
I'd like to see it expanded out to an 8 or 16, but
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it needs to be. But it's going to be years before that happens because of that.
Yeah, but
that's the
Took
whole
long
reason.
enough to get this.
But they are working on it with the conferences and the way that the conferences are laid out. And now you have the projection that I heard was what they're looking for is super conferences that have 16 teams in them.
What's going to happen is they're going to break off from the NCAA in a few years. Once like the ACC, the SEC, the Pac-12, and probably the Big Ten, the way things are right now.
Big Ten.
Once those 4 conferences get 16 teams of it, whenever they can legally do it, they'll break off from the NCAA, form their own 64-team league, and then have like the top 2 teams from each conference will play in an 8-team playoff, which would be so much better than it is now.
I agree.
Now it would exclude lots of teams, but it happens.
In one way it's better, but in another way, if they actually break away from the NCAA completely, then you're going to hurt Austin Peay and Bethune-Cookman and the other teams because
that's the way the world works, man.
It is, but the only time you hear about some of these Austin Peay is whenever they're playing somebody who's a top 25 or typically a top 40 team.
That's why they're lined up to take that big paycheck and the publicity of getting whooped.
That's their fault though. Like the school, like UNC Charlotte, which is where I live in North Carolina. They just started. It's a college been around forever. They've had a Division I basketball program forever. This season was the first season they've had football, and they're starting out in the FCS, and they're jumping to the CUSA or whatever. They're jumping to Division I in 2 seasons. So their third season, they're jumping to Division I. If you want to make money off of it, and you want to have a legitimate program, and you don't want to be left behind, you're saying, well, it's bad for Bethune-Cookman, it's bad for Austin Peay. That's their own fault. They should do what UNC Charlotte is doing, and they should work to build their program. They should put more money into it if they can. They should try to hire better coaches, get better players, whatever, and so that they can become a Division I program, and then it's not a problem anymore.
Colleges are non-profit. Education is supposed to be first. I think that gets
non-profit
aside. Yeah, non-profit. And there is one school that's trying to join the Pac-10 or Pac-12, whatever we want to call it now, that is going to be a profit school that they're really disliking right now.
What school?
It's in Colorado. I'll have to pull it up. Go ahead.
I don't know, so don't ask me.
Oh, no. So that $900,000 check that Florida AMU got, or A&M got, that covers all their athletics the entire year. Yep. That's why they're going to do it. Most schools do not make money off athletics, and they base everything on the football program or the basketball program to pull everybody back out of the red. Yep. And I think people have really lost track that people go to school for education, not to get ready to go play pro sports. And that's the root of the issue. And that's the root of the issue with the NCAA is there's so much money involved.
So you're saying the lack of a farm league for the NFL and the lack of a farm league for the NBA is a contributing factor?
NBA has a farm league, but go ahead.
The D League?
Yeah. Well, that's technically what it is. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, if education was the first focus, you wouldn't have one and dones in basketball.
Well, I think it's a completely different conversation, because with basketball, you can have one and dones because the requirement is you do 1 year of college.
Yep.
Now, if they had it like football, where you have to do at least 3 years of college, which I believe
3 years after high school.
Oh, okay. 3 years after high school, that's fine. Then
because some people
it would be different for basketball. And I personally, I think you should have to go all the way through college. That's just my opinion. But I think you should have to go all the way through college before you can make it into pro sports. That way, you do get your education, and people you have like Vince Young, for example, who went to the NFL and flopped miserably, and now is bankrupt apparently.
He's actually pretty good before he got all screwed up in the head. But.
Oh no, I know he did really good. I heard I'm pretty sure he was great in college as well, but now he's bankrupt. Now, if he has a college education, at least he has something to fall back on. And I feel like you're not only supporting your players, but it's providing a good message for the fact that college education is important. It's not all about the one and dones like
So to go to the NFL, you have to have a bachelor's degree in something?
Sure, if you want to make that a requirement, that's fine.
The only way they could do that is if they had some kind of feeder league. Like okay, in the NBA is a sport, or basketball, I guess. The NBA is not a sport, basketball is a sport. Basketball is a sport where high school, like the top high school players in the country now, could compete at the NBA level and do well. Football, you cannot say the same. Any high school football player, you throw any high school football player at me, they would get destroyed by NFL players. They're just not physically up to that level, just from a physical strength, speed standpoint. So I think if you had a situation like I agree. I think basketball, the rule should be you skip college and go straight to the NBA, or you play 4 years in college. It should be one or the other. You get that option, because then you're not wasting the time of the college by going for 1 year when you clearly don't want the education.
I like that point right there.
If all you want to do is go to the NBA, then you should be able to just do that yourself and go straight out of high school. But for the NFL, the only way they could do that and make it so you had to go 4 years or whatever is if they had some kind of like league, if it was like a 12-team league or something, where they just played exhibition games that were just, and then you could draft out of that pool. It like say, okay, we want to skip college, go to this feeder league for 2 years, and then get drafted out of there.
Can I twist it a little bit?
Go ahead.
What if you make arena football a little bit more legitimate?
I think that would be great. I don't watch that. I don't know much about it.
I don't either.
It's not around here, but
it's really entertaining.
That's what I hear. But I
so
think
Canadian football. But
we don't talk about Canada. This is America.
I'm just saying the Canadian
wow.
Canadian, from the guy who doesn't know anything about American politics. But anyways, Canadian football.
I know enough.
Canadian football is really fun to watch, but because they have like a way wider field and only 3 downs and all kinds of motion. So arena football, I think you'd have to make significant changes just because it's so much different fundamentally.
Yeah.
I think like ideally like pick 16 cities that don't have an NFL, they don't have a sports franchise, period, a pro sports franchise. Give them teams, and whatever players coming out of college or players coming out of high school, if they want to skip college, or players that come out of college, both. If they say we're not ready for the NFL yet, or we want to get ready for the NFL, have them enter a draft. They get drafted by one of these 16 teams, and then whenever they're ready to leave that league, whether it be 1 season or 5 seasons, NFL teams can draft out of a pool of those players or college players. You can draft out of both. That's how I do it.
I think you should have to sign with the NBA guys. I think you should have to sign a contract with the school the way that they're going, because it's silly to, like, when you're recruiting for football, your team is part of your recruitment. So if you're recruiting for basketball, you can't make that statement. And let me not try to falsify anything. I could care less about basketball. But it's a negative thing to try to recruit if you're just doing one and dones with people.
Ask Kentucky that.
Do what?
They won a national championship.
Kentucky, I mean, they get year after year the #1 recruiting class, and they're all one and dones.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for the education. They're not taking real classes. They're not getting real degrees when they go to this. That's why I'm kind of a proponent of you shouldn't have to do any college if you want to go play pro sports. That's your prerogative. That's your choice.
Yeah, if you want to, I agree completely. If you want to go work in a factory, you don't have to get it's not a job that requires a college degree or any job that doesn't require a college degree. They don't say, well, we want you to get a college degree that has nothing to do with you working here before you can work here. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely just illogical.
That's how most of the world works, though, is you go in school and get a degree that you really don't teach you what you do in real life.
But at least most of the degrees are at least somewhat related to some kind of skills that you need to have for the job. Like, I mean, most jobs... Yeah, but I mean, okay, if I get a degree in business, that doesn't make me a better football player. Most jobs that require a college education, there's at least some tie between the job and what you get in the education, even if it's minimal.
Yes and no, but I understand your point. The reason why I don't like a high school player, no matter how good they are, going directly into, say, the NBA, is because I think it makes the quality of gameplay and the product, the NBA product, the finished product, the games that you're watching, it makes it dumbs it down almost. It makes it not as fun to watch because it's sloppier, it's not as good play than if you have an experienced player like, I don't know, the Rookie of the Year last year, Damian Lillard. But
I disagree.
I mean, yeah, Kobe came straight out, LeBron came straight out.
Now, they did come out, but those are how many out of...
But the other people who
But if the guys who aren't good, they're not going to get on the floor. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to get on the floor if they can't play.
It depends on the team that they get on. It depends on the team that they get on.
I'm a Bobcats fan. Don't even talk to me about that.
Can I ask
a question?
Well,
then you should know better than anyone else.
But if there's a high school player that is not good enough to be a rotation player in the NBA, then he's not going to play enough to dilute the product. He's not going to be the slot. He's barely going to play. So how's he going to dilute the product?
I have a question.
It's like saying Jimmy Clausen
The
makes
thing
the
is,
Panthers
though,
worse.
if a high school player is good enough to get into the NBA, he's going to be played. But how good he is, he's not going to be up to the NBA level. That's rare. Those are the Kobes. Those are the LeBrons. You don't see those players. Look at Martell Webster, who plays, I think he's on the Minnesota Timberwolves at least right now. I can't remember. He used to be a Blazer, but he's not very good.
But you don't have to be LeBron to be considered to not dilute the product, though. Like, in reality, your average NBA team plays an 8 to 9 man rotation. Like, if you're in the top 8 to 9 players on a team, you can't say they're diluting the product because they're going to play someone at whatever that ninth player level is, the guy who's getting.
Then what's the point of taking
8 to 12 minutes a game?
What's the point of taking him?
In the
right
draft?
Out of high school. Yeah.
Because he's 18 and your other guy who's playing that position is 26, and you have more time to develop him to become a player who's better.
You want to develop him. Why not send him to a college where he can get gameplay experience,
Good point.
Live gameplay, in-game experience to develop for 3 to 4 years, then take him. Because he's more developed.
Maybe the NBA teams think they have better coaching staffs and they can develop him better. Maybe they're worried if he goes to college they won't be able to draft him. Maybe they see some particular skill in him where they think he's going to be useful right away. Maybe they want him to get used to playing NBA competition instead of college competition because it's better. There's a handful of reasons you could say that they would want to do that, and it's up to the NBA team. I don't think if an NBA team thought that someone was just going to be inept at first. They said, well, this person's completely inept right now, but in a few years they might be good. I don't think they would use a high draft pick on them if they didn't have at least some skills that they could bring to the table right away. They don't have to be a franchise changer in their first year, but they at least be able to hang on the court.
So how many people finish 4 years of college and then go pro? I mean, what's the ratio?
Oh, I think it's very small.
In what sport? What sport?
In NBA. We'll go the NBA, the basketball to NBA.
I would say it's very small.
Really small.
Like probably like 10%, because if you look,
it's probably higher than that. But
well, if you look at the draft, though, there's 2 rounds in the draft, right? If you look at the 60 players that get drafted, half of them are freshmen or sophomores at least. Like, we'll have to look this up.
Sure. Yeah.
But like the amount of purely the fact that the freshmen are 3 years younger means that a freshman of lesser skill will get drafted over a senior of greater skill just because they have more time to develop.
I disagree with that statement, but
Well, it's a fact. More time to develop because they're younger.
Yeah, but you can take a 22-year-old and still develop them within 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, but in 3 to 4 years, he might be in his prime.
Look at New York. Didn't they draft a 38-year-old or something? A point guard? Why would they do that?
They drafted a Euro player who was older, I think. A lot of teams do that. But, like, if I draft... Okay, let's say there's 2 point guards coming out, okay? And they have exactly equal talent levels. One's 18, one's 22. 22-year-old... Let's say they both retire at age 35.
They have the exact same talent levels.
Yeah.
This argument's...
even if the older player, if the 22-year-old is better... If you
Depends on if you need a point... If you need a point guard right now... Yeah, you're going to take the better player.
Teams don't. Lots of teams.
You want to invest, then sure, you take a younger player.
The teams that are in these positions that aren't thinking right now necessarily. I think the argument for me is always look at the Bobcats. We've been rebuilding for 4 years and we still suck.
No, it's because
clearly we're not thinking
horrible.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, our current GM's good. It's Michael Jordan that was making all the bad decisions previously, but that's a different discussion.
Agreed.
But if the thing is, if you look at a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old, the 22-year-old may be better, but the question is, do you think that 18-year-old, when he's 22, will he be better than that 22-year-old is now? Which 22-year-old version is going to be better, the guy who's 22 now or the guy who's 18? Because if you think that within 4 years of development I can get that 18-year-old to be better than that 22-year-old is now, then you draft him instead.
But do you want to pay that amount of salary for that person to develop over 4 years?
That's up to... I'm not disagreeing with you that it's a good or bad strategy. I'm just saying that's what the strategy is.
I know, but you're going to argue this to death. I know you are. I
think the problem is that you're both agreeing with each other. You're just talking on 2 different points.
Yeah.
Because but drafting this guy and drafting this guy, there's different reasons for drafting each of them.
Yeah,
and whichever reason you choose is maybe the right or wrong one for
There's
your
a positive
franchise.
and a negative to both situations.
So,
yeah.
I would rather that they...
Go ahead.
I think I would rather that all of them just have a bachelor's degree because sports is fun, but it's not forever. I mean, even Steve Nash is like 6 million years old. Hey, I know somebody. How about that? Name drop. Steve Nash is like he's like 35.
He's 38.
He's 38.
He's older, yeah.
But he's still. But you know what? He's retiring next year, I think, or maybe this year. This coming up year, it will be his last year. Okay.
I think he's got 1 or 2 more years.
He's still got a good 40 more years to live. And what's he gonna do?
What if you had 1 million YouTube subscribers and I told you you're not allowed to make any money off YouTube until you get a college degree because eventually your YouTube channel will die and you'll have to do something else?
I think that's a completely terrible analogy.
I think it's a terrible analogy, but I think it's motivation for me. If I want to do YouTube as my career and that's what's blocking me, that's my motivation to go.
How is that a bad analogy though? Because
YouTube at 1 million subscribers, you'd already be making money, and if you're in,
I'm saying
you're saying talent level.
I'm saying if you have 1 million subscribers, let me finish my thought also.
No.
So everybody gets the full what I'm trying to say, because I understand why it might be a bad analogy at first. But if you have 1 million subscribers, you'll unless you have a Wings of Redemption growth rate, you're going to make enough money to live off of, okay? So if I said you have 1 million subscribers, but you're not allowed to make a single penny off of your YouTube channel until you get a college degree, how is that different from taking a basketball player who is good enough to get an NBA contract and make money by playing in the NBA? How's that different from telling that person, well, you can make money off of it right now, but you're not allowed to until you get a college degree? I see you bashing me in the chat.
You've got a point, man. You need to come into arguments a little more open-minded.
I think I'm being open-minded. I just think it doesn't make sense.
You're open-minded to hearing your idea, your thoughts in a different way.
Excuse me. I've been swayed on the show. I've been swayed on this show before.
Then how are you
did sway him one time. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I did sway him one time.
You did sway him one time.
Yeah.
I can be swayed. I just need to hear a really sound argument that makes my argument not make sense.
I think Maze Man's point is that you're not perceived as having that open mind, and it may just is perception on your end. Your statement is that it's a perception. I think the analogy you're making there is that 1 million subscribers is equivalent to the talent level. Is that correct?
Yes, the earning capability of someone with 1 million subscribers is equivalent to someone being good enough to earn an NBA contract and make a salary.
The reason I would say that's not equivalent is because that's kind of irrelevant. I was going to say the reason that's not equivalent is because you've earned your way to 1 million subscribers based on your talent level, and you'd earn your way up to a $10 million contract based on your talent level in the NBA. And so I'm having issues with the analogy. However, at some point everyone's career is over and you need something to do after that, which is why I'd recommend it no matter what, that you have the education for it. Making somebody wait until they have developed fully physically, regardless of the sport, is important, and it's recognized. That's why you do have the weight in college football. That's why you have the weight in the Olympics. And I mean, I guess the NBA has the same type of weight. I don't want to put too much supposition on it, but there is a time restriction there. Look at that spit. There's some kind of time restriction there for whatever reason, and most of it, especially in football, is body development. Some people hit growth spurts at 19, and regardless, you don't want to put someone who's 18 years old on the same field as someone who's 25 years old, fully developed, and weighs 300 pounds. Just the same reason you don't want to put a high school team on the field with a college team. They've had more years of training, more years of weightlifting, more years of inflicting pain, and they know better how to do it.
I think a good example of that is Anthony Davis, because from 17 to 18, he was the #1 pick in the 2012 draft, for those of you who don't know. Basically Whackman, but yeah. So from like 17 to 18, he grew like I don't know, he was like a foot or something. Like this kid just sprouted up.
He was like 6'1" his junior year of high school, and then his senior year of high school he got up to 7 foot. Like he was a point guard
over like a summer. It's ridiculous. So I just thought of this. Another reason I think it's important to wait to be drafted into whatever sport it is, regardless, is for financial reasons. Because you take an 18-year-old something, you give him $10 million, stupid. So stupid. You give someone who has an education and can be more not going to be exactly, but more financially responsible because he understands, of the money he's getting. To me, that's smarter on everyone involved, everybody, because then you're going to get less instances where they were out super late partying or whatever and got a DUI or something. Now, I'm not trying to open up a different conversation, but that's just an example.
Yeah. You don't want them to go all Aaron Hernandez on people.
I think that's a very good reason. However, it still comes down. It still comes down to denying someone of an opportunity to make money at a job that they're qualified for. If someone was qualified to go work on an assembly line, you wouldn't say you have to do these other things that don't matter before you can work here, even though you're qualified to do this. If you're qualified to become an NBA player, if you have the basketball ability, you can play basketball at a high enough level to play in the NBA. There shouldn't be any other deciding factor that says you can or can't do it. That if a team wants to sign you, I mean, obviously you have other issues, but that's a different discussion.
I've got some really good knowledge on how to take care of people. That doesn't mean I'm okay to be a doctor.
That's different, though.
No, sir. Not according to your argument. I don't have the education level for it, but if I'm good enough to be a doctor without the education, I should be able to be a doctor, according to your argument.
You couldn't be a good. You wouldn't. Without going to medical school, there's no way you could possess enough knowledge to be a fully licensed physician.
That's every 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's a possibility, because if I read all the same books that they did, and I got the ability to practice some of these things as a paramedic or a nurse or a physician's assistant, then you could be there. If you read all the law books, you are well adept at arguing. What's to say you couldn't be a lawyer for anyone other than yourself, except that education, that bar degree, but bar exam?
Yep. That piece of paper.
According to your argument of the education holding them back from attaining a job.
I think you might have swayed me.
Yeah!
Oh my god!
I won't say you swayed me 100% because I disagree with that idea. Because I asked the other day after I went to do this job shadowing with this lawyer, I can't drive yet, obviously, so my mom was driving me home, and I said, if you don't go to law school but you pass the state bar exam, can you practice law? And she said, no, you still have to have a law degree. I said, well, that's stupid. If I know enough to pass the exam to become a certified lawyer, why can't I practice law? So I think
you could be as good as any bad lawyer out there.
In concept, you're right, but that's not the way it should work. So I'll say you swayed me partially. I'll give you that.
That's the way America corruption does work. Is there's lots of little loops that you have to jump through in order to accomplish things.
Yes. So I will give you partial sway, Whackmed.
Yep.
Not full sway. 75% sway.
We can go ahead and put the outro music on and be done. I am done.
I'll take it. I like it.
That was a good thought.
Sweet. Let's feed the fire a little bit.
Ooh, feed the fire. New topic.
Man, weird.
Segment.
This is going to be the longest.
Shout out to Sleeping Marlins for actually commenting down below, and he wanted to hear some more about this, so we have brought it back for another week, and I think that fell on Oyster to bring that in.
And if you haven't, subscribe to all of our channels right now. Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor. I've got a lot of good content going on, and you're really.
I would say we've all got good content.
Well, obviously, Bondfire's got the best content because he plays GTA, and GTA's and he's just better than everybody else because he has GTA.
Yeah.
But, anyways.
On PlayStation. He's got
on
it on PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got it on Xbox.
I got it on Xbox, so I could play with other fellow YouTubers in Network.
I know who he's talking about, too.
Like TacticalOyster.
Now, however, I will say that it's unfortunate the Xbox has to have 2 discs. I understand why, but it's unfortunate.
Why?
It happens.
Why is it unfortunate?
Because I had to deal with an install and all that. If I just had the
habit.
PlayStation version, I'd just be playing it. You know?
Do you not install every game?
You still install the first 8 gigs on the Blu-ray for the PS3. It still runs it off the drive.
At the very least, it's an extra 20 seconds of hassle of switching the discs out. At the very least, so.
20 seconds I'll never get back.
Exactly. Well, just like this is going to end up being an 8-hour show we never get back.
Another reason why I wanted it on the PlayStation originally is because to me, Grand Theft Auto is a PlayStation game. That's where Rockstar thrives. I mean, if you look at all the PlayStation gameplay trailers, it's done in the PlayStation.
Have you seen side-by-side screenshots?
Yeah, I have actually, and they look very similar. I'm not saying it looks better on the PlayStation. I'm not saying that at all.
The PS3 does look better. It looks like it's got a little bit better color correction.
I feel like the textures are a little better. However, I read that there's currently a problem on the textures on the PS3,
which could be part of that whole 2-disc problem.
Could be.
Did you guys watch? Not to change the subject, but if anybody watched my gaming news in the week video,
I did.
They would have heard about the Rise Son of Rome graphic controversy.
I actually didn't know about that. I knew about the second half of that, but that first part that you're going to talk about, I'm sure.
About the Photoshop part?
I did not know about that. That's very interesting.
I know that Xbox basically Photoshopped screenshots from Rise Son of Rome to make it look better than it actually does for Xbox.com, which I thought was interesting.
That's very interesting.
Considering, and also the fact that, which you already knew apparently, but the fact that it doesn't run at full 1080p, it runs at 900p, which I didn't know existed.
Yeah, what the heck is that?
I didn't know that existed, but apparently it does. The fact that an Xbox One game is not exclusive, is not going to run at full capacity on the Xbox One is hilarious. But I don't know.
I think so too. It's funny because it's like it's not as good. It's not good enough to be 1080, but it's better than 720. I don't get it. I don't know why it has to be that. Like why? I don't get it.
I don't know what holds it back from being 1080. Like why can't you?
Like,
I thought that was just a developer's choice. Like we have the technology to make it 1080. Let's make it 1080.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's obviously got the power to do so. Like, why can't it do it? I don't.
None of the launch games don't really use the full capacity of the.
No, that's true. That's very true. Good statement.
Yeah, it'll take a couple years for everybody to figure it out what all they can do. Or Call of
That's a
Duty
good point.
Ghost on the Xbox One dedicated servers is a big step.
That is a big step. I will
There's
give
a-
you that.
Depending on
There's a
Oh.
lot of big steps coming up. Cloud computing is going to be a lot bigger than people are giving it credit for, and
Yes,
it doesn't have so much to do with the immediate transactions that are going on inside your computer. What's going on inside your Xbox and PlayStation 4, maybe if they go cloud.
They are. Gaikai Gaming.
What it does have to do is a lot of the background stuff that your console won't have to do,
Exactly.
and allows the game to do something else.
hmm
So
Yeah, like your console can be doing one thing and the cloud can be doing another,
Right.
working in harmony to give you a better experience. Yeah,
Right.
I'm very excited for it. I'm curious to know when both the Xbox One cloud is going to be up and running, and as well as the PlayStation cloud, which is serviced through Gaikai. It is coming. It is happening. They both have cloud.
Okay, I haven't seen enough developments on that. What they were doing with Gaikai was it not the same as what Xbox was going to be doing with the cloud. And there were
Agreed.
going to be
I'll give you that.
differences so that the problem is so minute, but it's so huge at the same time. It's minute to a gamer who doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge to the gamer who doesn't care, because if I'm programming a game to run on the Xbox and I'm counting I have to have cloud computing to make my game run, then I can't play that game. Oh, sorry. I can't play that game or port that game over to the PlayStation 4 because they don't have that avenue there for me to use.
Sure.
And so that won't work. And that believe me, people,
Drags
this
down
is
the
a problem.
product for everybody.
You got to, right, which is why the weakest link in the chain of console, PC, whichever console and the PC, the weakest link in the chain is going to be the standard everyone builds for.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Which is why you should be rooting people at Sony and Microsoft on to make the best consoles they can from both sides, because they're going to build to the dumbest one.
See, and I'm happy that you said that, because I'm so tired of this whole console war thing, because it's like this competition between Microsoft and Sony, it's a win-win for everyone involved. When they're competing, everyone's one-upping each other. Not only do we get quality games, we get significant more processing power, better consoles. You just get, everything is just better. And having that strong competition, you can apply this I would say almost to any product market, is a win for consumers.
It's when they compete, not when we fight.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, and like, yes, I'm getting the PlayStation 4 at launch, but I'm also getting the Xbox One because I want the best of both worlds, because I believe the PlayStation has things the Xbox doesn't, and vice versa. And why not have the best of both worlds? Why not consume what this console war is going to give me?
Right.
So.
Did anybody care about Rise, Son of Rome anyway?
That's one of the launch games I'm definitely getting.
And I'm curious to see it because, I don't know, I think it looks cool. It reminds me of a very heavy QuickTime God of War type game, even though they said it's not QuickTime heavy. You know, I don't know. But I'm also curious to see how the multiplayer is going to work as well, because I know that's, again, a pretty big component. Every game's got to have multiplayer these days. I don't know about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
And
only
after hearing
negative-
about the 900p Photoshop thing,
Still better
it's
than what
kinda
you're
funny.
seeing now.
Right.
I'm
What
sure
you're
it'll be
seeing
good.
now is 460 upscale to 7. Is 460? It's
360?
it's
what is it?
480.
480.
No, it's not quite, because it's not a true resolution. It's an upscale from some hybrid. So what they do is they take, I guess it's somewhere like right around half of 1080. It's 1920 by 1080 is 1080. However, consoles only put out, does PS3 put out 1080?
No, I think
It's 720.
it typically goes 720.
It's
I think there's
720.
very few games that do 1080.
Yeah, the Xbox 360, for all you fanboys, actually only puts out 720p. So when you're putting out 720p, the games aren't actually built in 720p. They're actually built in some hybrid, and then what they do is they just double the size of it so that it comes out as 720, which is why I want to say it was somewhere around 4 something. Anyway, it's not a true half. It's a little more than half, but and it's not because I can't do the math. It's because I can't remember the number, and I don't want to be wrong. Man, you got aliens. You are too close to Roswell. You're closer than me.
Too close to the
You're
train
the
line.
guy. Oh wait, I've got another feed the fire thing now. I just thought of one.
That's what we're supposed to be doing right now, right?
I've tried to transition like 3 times, but I didn't getting cut off because you guys are in such this deep conversation. So I just decided to stop until you guys were
Okay,
ready.
fuel the fire. Go.
Oh, last thing about Rise though. Ironically, I want to make another comment. Rise is a game that caught my attention. I'm excited to get. The only thing I didn't like about it is the gameplay I saw. It looked very guided. It looked like go
Very
to here, go to here, and then you're gonna win this fight by hitting A, then X, then Y, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
even
That's a
the
good
fight,
point.
even the actual fighting mechanic was guided. But I haven't played the game yet, so I could be completely wrong. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I have a question before we transition. 'Cause Maze Man's new.
we're never gonna get there. But okay.
I know we're not. It's okay. Maze Man, I believe you are getting the Xbox One, right?
Yes.
What games are
Welcome
you
to the club.
I'm a big Call of Duty kind of guy, so
Okay.
I'll probably, since Call of Duty is gonna be launching so close after that, and a lot of my channel is based around Call of Duty, it really kind of takes over your entire
Okay.
life.
That's about what I'm feeling about Oyster right now. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
chances are I'll still be playing GTA 5 at that point in time.
That could be
So
it.
I'm just gonna be getting Call of Duty at launch, and then
Okay.
seeing what other game is really worth spending the money on. Because my
Okay.
personal opinion, like I kind of touched on earlier, is that the games that come out on launch generally are maybe just a little bit of a step up from the last games on the previous console. And just because the developers, they don't have enough time to get with all the little tweaks and bugs that you're going to have with the whole new specs on everything, the games just aren't as polished. So I'm just going to be getting Call of Duty. That is it.
Okay.
Before we keep calling Oyster a fanboy, let's not remember that Oyster's starting a Let's Play channel when the Xbox One comes
I know, and I'm looking forward to it, buddy. I will say this, though. Out of all the console launches, I feel like that the launch titles for both the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are stronger than we've ever seen for any launch of any console.
I wasn't in tune with the market for previous releases, and I wasn't looking to buy a console until I discovered Black Ops 1 Zombies. And then I wanted a console based on what would play Call of Duty better. And what actually swayed my opinion and why I bought a 360 in the first place was because I had a coworker and he had a group of people and they all played together, and I saw that they all worked together. That's why I went 360. And it had nothing to do with components or which one's better, which one's coming out with a new whatever first, or that was it. It was all about the community that I could get into immediately and who I knew with what.
When did you start watching Call of Duty YouTube videos?
I started watching
Simply because if you started playing Call of Duty in Black Ops 1 and you started commentating in Modern Warfare 3, then you made a really quick transition from player to viewer to content maker.
That's because so many people make crap videos. I'm sorry.
But I'm saying
Save that for the end there, buddy.
I'm saying you discovered you discovered the whole YouTube scene really quickly. If
So-
that's the case.
Yeah, I did. My first person was the same as yours. It was T. Martin, or that was a video you did recently, or a tweet or something.
It was in my Q&A video.
Yeah, that's it. And it was, I think I was actually looking for something else. And I discovered a link to a T. Martin video on jumps and spots, which
Was it a spam comment?
I don't know.
So I've actually seen spam comments from big YouTubers before, from like I'll watch a video from like Modern Warfare 2, and then you'll see a comment from a guy saying, "Oh, I have a small channel," whatever, like your typical spam comment. Then that person's channel is now blown up. Like I saw a spam comment from XJaws one time on a video. I'm assuming we all know who XJaws is, even though he's not really active anymore. But he got up to like 900,000 subscribers at his peak, and it was like, please check out my channel. It would mean a lot to me, whatever. And it's like you're making tons of YouTube money now. I don't know. I think it's
no,
cool.
it was actually I didn't even go to YouTube. I googled something about Modern Warfare 3, or not Modern. Yeah, it was Modern Warfare 3. It was right after Modern Warfare 3 came out, and I wanted to know something about one of the score streaks or kill streaks, how it worked. Like, I think it was the IMS actually, and I found T. Martin. You know, the rich get richer, and one of his videos is what popped up. One of interesting note, one of Woody's videos popped up. I was like, dude, I don't care anything about your family. I'm sure they're great, and I've got nothing against him or his family, but he talked about his family in the whole video. I'm like, I don't care. And I was watching the gameplay, and so I didn't watch Woody for a long time because I didn't care to hear about his family. And now, I mean, I wish him all well, but his Dead Tactical Tuesday series is something I would much rather watch.
Absolutely.
I'm more of a podcast watcher than I am a content watcher. I'm more interested in hearing what you're saying than I am watching what you're doing, unless I'm looking for something very specific on how to perform something very specific.
I was a huge
unless you're
fan.
trying to learn how to do 360s on a BMX bike.
I watch your stuff because you're awesome. Let's just be honest.
I tried to get a plug in there. It didn't work very well, but anyways, let's move on.
I loved Woody's Feedback Friday series. I'm very disappointed he decided to cut that from the rotation.
He's cut I think he's too swamped with other stuff, and I'm not trying to plug his channel because he's doing exactly why I'm mad at T. Martin. He's cutting out everything about why I watch him.
Woody, not to keep bashing Woody, because Woody is, something just popped up on my screen. Not to keep bashing Woody, because Woody is one of my favorite YouTubers. He's one of the few YouTubers where I watch everything that pops up in my sub box from him, for the most part. But all the Minecrafts, all of a sudden.
Don't watch any of it.
Like, I can respect wanting to branch out because I've tried to do that myself, and even a channel as small as mine, when nobody watches your videos because it's not Call of Duty, it's depressing. So I can only imagine what it would be like when you're getting people flaming you in the comments of your own videos just because you're trying to do something different. But it's like, make the transition slowly at least, because like he's gotten to the point where he's replacing COD videos or any video. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't even care what the gameplay is as long as it's a normal commentary, like whether it's Borderlands or Battlefield or whatever. But when you're replacing your daily upload with a Minecraft live stream like that, and you're doing that consistently, it's aggravating to me. But whatever.
Well, personally, this is my approach, I guess, to YouTube, and maybe it's why I've not grown as fast as some other commentators or whatever you call it have. But I feel like when you start out, you have to have a vision of what you want to do and maintain that vision throughout the life of it. So, for example, if you got like Woody's Gamertag, and again, I don't know his past or whatever that, but let's say he started out as a commentator, Call of Duty commentator, he gets big doing that. People sub to him because of that. If he does something else, they don't want that. You're not giving your audience what they originally came there for. Yeah. So if you would have done from the get-go and got people that liked everything that you did, whether it be Minecraft and Call of Duty, and grew that way, I think that's a better approach. Now, I understand that you're going to try to spice things up, and I'm all about variety. Trust me, I love introducing new things and trying new things. So I understand you're going to have those growth spurts and things like that, but I think you have to lay a solid foundation out, just like you would any other business, before you get to a certain level because of a certain reason.
That's not... you're right. However, to modify... The problem is that Woody is a series-based channel. He had Mail Monday, Tech Tuesday, Wife Wednesday. What was Thursday? I think Thursday was kind of an open.
Thursday was just whatever, really. He had Feedback Friday, Mail Monday, Tech Tuesday, Friday. Or Tactical Tuesday, Wife Wednesday, PKA on Saturday usually, and then Saturday and Thursday or Sunday and Thursday.
So the problem is the only series that he still runs are Mail Monday and Wife Wednesday, and the only reason Wife Wednesday's on there because his wife got
mad at him because he tried to cut her and she got mad.
I don't care what the feedback is. That is why his wife got cut.
Exactly
that's funny.
That's exactly what happened.
She got cut and he got cut off, and I mean that's pure speculation and probably poppycock, but
it's probably true.
It's probably an element of truth to it. But he cut out a series. It's like, well, I liked Feedback Friday, and I liked
that was my
Tech
favorite
Tuesday.
Content on his whole channel.
I like Tech Tuesday. Friday. I like Tactical Tuesday, whichever one he decided to do. they're not there anymore. They're replaced with 4 hours of Minecraft live stream. Dude, I love the fact that you are getting to spend awesome time with your kid. I love the fact that you're making tons of money and you found a way to exploit the things that you like and get rich off of doing them. You're not providing me the content anymore. And so I don't hate, I don't send him bad tweets. I just don't watch it.
Same.
I just don't watch it.
I know this is going off script, but do you guys want to transition to a topic we planned for later, which was the YouTube lack of YouTube content? Because it seems like a natural transition at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
I completely agree with what Bondfire was saying about you build your channel on a certain whatever it is, whether it's series-based, whether it's comedy, whether it's gameplay, whatever it happens to be, whatever your niche is, you build it off of that. And when you get big, you should maintain that, because that's what people wanted to see from you. That's what made you what you are. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's kind of like when you first get in, like when I first got into YouTube, but all I pretty much watched was Call of Duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all I really knew how to do on YouTube, like skill set wise, like the main thing I would know how to do is make Call of Duty commentaries. I would know how to do Let's Plays, really, because I didn't watch Let's Plays, so I didn't know what was the right thing to do with Let's Plays, and the same thing applies to lots of different videos. However, as you expand, as you get more experience, you kind of learn how to do other stuff.
Sure.
So, and you get bored. Like, at this point, I'm so bored of making COD commentaries that are about Call of Duty. Like, I guess you guys probably know this, but, like, most of the COD commentaries I do now have nothing to do with anything Call of Duty related. It's Call of Duty gameplay with another different topic. So I feel like it's tough to, like, even at a small size, like the NCAA series I tried to do, which I'm not even sure I'm going to continue now because it's got no response except for like 1 or 2 people. It's like my typical COD commentary, even if it's not about Call of Duty, gets 30 to 60 views and 6 to 10 likes, and then I upload 2 NCAA videos and it's getting single-digit views and 2 likes, and it's like, I don't want to have to do that as much as I would like to expand to new stuff. Like, it's just, like, depressing when you put a lot of work into a video and you get no recognition because that's not what people want to watch. So I kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's you put yourself into that own hole.
Yeah.
Maze Man, how did you build your success? Because you had more subs than any of us here.
Well, really, I guess I kind of give you the background. I started watching Call of Duty videos on YouTube in 2008. So that'd be World at War is when I really started getting into it.
So good.
It's by far my favorite one.
That makes
this guy. Wow. I like this guy.
Now, I was in college at the time, so all I did was work part-time, go to school full-time, so I had plenty of time for Call of Duty. So I was trying to get all those jump spots and all that kind of stuff. I started doing that. And then I kind of stumbled on to White Boy 7th Street, WoodysGamertag, and I really liked White Boy 7th Street. Was just kind of that cool kid that you could see kind of growing up down the street, kind of crazy, kind of out there, you know, an entertaining guy. But WoodysGamertag was more of that older brother, kind of bringing a little bit more intellect, family type stuff, and just kind of bringing that more mature personality to the side of things, because a lot of the people on YouTube are younger. So it was kind of nice to see that more of a intelligent viewpoint on things. So I didn't actually start my channel, though, until I just passed the year mark in August, where I wanted to start one and just never did. And one thing I do is just have fun. I guess that's the big thing, is a lot of people get into YouTube thinking it's going to make them money. This is their career. This is what they are born to do. And I have a different viewpoint of, I know this is a hobby, so I treat it like a hobby, but I also take my hobbies very seriously. So you almost have to run it like a business. You have to have schedules. You have to decide, like you said, you have to have a good foundation of what your channel is going to be about. And what I think, like, to kind of touch back on Ahmed there, was with WoodysGamertag, is his channel's developing and growing into what his fan base is. And WoodysGamertag made that cognitive choice not to cuss, to be very, kid-friendly. So when you do that, you kind of, besides PK is very adult-oriented. But all his other content, he kind of geared it towards that
PG-13.
Yeah, that 13 to 17-year-old age range. And Minecraft's huge for that age range. So he knows.
But at the same time, he gets more dislikes than likes on his Minecraft live streams because people say, like myself, I subscribe to listen to you talk about anything really. I didn't. You could do almost any kind of content really, as long as you're taking it, what a random gameplay and just talking about an interesting topic. But instead, you're playing a game that I don't play and I don't want to watch, and you're making that it became my problem is it became his #1 game overnight. It wasn't like a slow transition. It wasn't like for example, PewDiePie started out as a COD commentator, so but he didn't just randomly start playing random games and drop COD altogether immediately and lose whatever sub base he had. He made it slowly. It's like WoodysGamertag's channel is completely gone to Minecraft, just over instantly. For no reason. But anyways, not to cut you off. That's
the question is, where's he making his money?
WoodyCraft.net.
Exactly. Minecraft is making his money. He's a smart businessman. He has a master's in computer science. He was making 6 figures working for Cisco. He's not a dumb guy. He knows what he's doing. And sometimes you have to change your channel and what you're all about to follow that trail of. If this is what he wants to do is a form of employment, you're going to go where the money's at. And right now it's at Minecraft for him. And it's also, the period we're at right now is such a dull period for Call of Duty, especially channels that are just based around Call of Duty. That Black Ops 2's lifespan's about dead. You're getting ready to gear up towards Ghost. So he's just kind of filling in the timeline. Last year, a couple years ago, everybody was playing, what's that one where you kind of drive around with all the old people in the wheelchair, Happy Wheels? I remember everyone was doing Happy Wheels and that kind of stuff. So it's just filler. But that's where he's making his money. I can't blame him. He's one of the reasons why I started my channel. I no longer watch his content. So I'm kind of with you guys on that.
Mazeman, do you mind me asking if you're a partnered channel?
Yes, I'm partnered.
With what network?
I'm with RPM.
Okay. Because I know with the network that I'm with, a big part of your money and how you get paid is viewer watch time. And I don't know what network, and it's also a big part of YouTube's algorithm for promoting channels. The longer people stay on your channel, the more promotion, the higher you are in searches. So one thing I noticed from live streaming on YouTube is that you make more money and get more promotion off of live streaming because instead of people having a 10-minute video to watch or 5-minute video, whatever, they've got a 2-hour live stream. So if Woody's live streaming for 4 hours, that's 4 hours of possible audience retention he's getting. So even just off of live streaming, as opposed to making videos, regular videos, he's still getting a lot more money because people are going to spend more time on his channel because they're just longer amounts of content. So plus the WoodyCraft.net, he's just making a crap ton of money off that anyways. So it'll be interesting to see once Call of Duty Ghost comes out, what will the split then be between COD and Minecraft? That's when it'll be interesting.
But back to the original topic of the lack of stuff to watch on YouTube. Is the lack of stuff to watch on YouTube because of the life cycle of COD, or is it because of commentators? Does everybody have writer's block all at the same time? I mean, everybody I watch does Grand Theft Auto 5. Every gamer channel that I watch does Grand Theft Auto 5 now, which is why, Mazeman tweeted out, I think I'm going to put it down for a little bit, and I was like, oh, thank God. Somebody's putting it down. I can find some content that's not based around Grand Theft Auto 5. If I'm going to look there, then I've got 2 people that I can look at, one of them being Bondfire, and I can get my fill of Grand Theft Auto from them. I know they'll put out stuff that I'll be interested in, but I don't need the maybe 15 or 20 gaming YouTubers that I watch. I don't need them inundating me solely with Grand Theft Auto 5 just because Call of Duty's like I said, I don't care what you're playing. I want to hear you talk. I want to hear what you have to say. Educate me on something or provide some kind of commentary that I want to hear, and that's lacking. Even the people that are doing Grand Theft Auto 5 stuff aren't doing commentary. They're doing Grand Theft Auto 5 Let's Play or gaming commentary about the gameplay. I miss the topics that are available for discussion that are not specifically related to the game, and I can't find anybody doing that.
I agree.
But
I
in
think
the same
Bondfire-
token, to finish up, I'm sorry, even in the same token, I'm also having difficulties finding topics to talk about myself that are not related to the game.
I think Bondfire is going to come out and say he's the only one that doesn't, or maybe Maze Man too, that has plenty of content to watch. Because Bonfire watches lots of comedy channels and stuff. You know, things are, at least the way Bonfire has described his viewing to me, he may tell you differently. Whereas, like, you and I, Whackbed, we listen to what people want to say. You want to hear someone discuss a topic. Like, I don't care, I don't watch the gameplay, so I don't care what the gameplay is. Just, I want to hear if you have something interesting to say. And I don't know what kind of content Maze Man watches, but I think the problem is that there's not anything to talk about right now in general. Like, as far as current events and stuff, I don't know. There's just nothing really happening to talk about. So,
so to answer Whackman's original question, I think it's a combination of Call of Duty's life cycle, since that is a predominant part of YouTube and the people who create YouTube content, as well as oversaturation of YouTube. And you have so many people talking about so many different topics. Everyone's trying to find their own unique niche or way to get in there and say what they want to say, that if everyone's doing X amount of topics and someone's trying to find why, it's hard when, you know, there's so many other topics that people have already covered. So I think saturation has a huge part of it, because someone wants to try to talk about something different, but it's hard to find that when just about everything you can think of, whether it's something that just happened yesterday or today even, there's only 500 videos on it, you know.
Maze Man, what kind of videos do you like to watch, gaming-wise?
You know, I guess I don't feel like there's a shortage of content, but the content I look for is, one, I always have people send me stuff, and I always watch everything that gets sent to me. So that's how I watch a lot of smaller YouTubers. So you were saying how many people you were subscribed to earlier. I'll go through if I can't find anything like on the top couple. Like the big one for me right now is actually Rooster Teeth. Are you guys familiar with Rooster Teeth and their Let's Play channel?
Yes.
Yep.
I watch their stuff a lot, and the Let's Play ones are kind of longer, so those really take up most of my viewing time. But besides that, I like to watch up-and-coming YouTubers. And I know that's kind of an odd thing to watch. And just because I like to see what you can work on. And I know that sounds horrible to be like a critic watching up-and-coming people, but I like to break down commentators into seeing how they do stuff technically. You know, as far as how clean your audio is, how nice your actual footage is, that kind of stuff. And then after that, I look at your content and, you know, the charisma that you kind of bring to the table.
He says with a blue face.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, I think you're right on though, because when I get those people that send me, you know, come check this out, or, you know, most of the time this is the way a YouTuber gets this stuff. I love your content. Please come check my stuff out. Leave a comment or a like. Please subscribe. And that's how I get, you know, 90% of the ones that ask me to look at their stuff. And generally, I also go and check out. I usually do 2. I try to do 3, but I don't always have time. 2 of their videos just to get different perspectives, different days of the week. You record differently, and if you don't disable resample, I know automatically that you don't put enough effort into making a quality product that I need to continue to watch. And it's a generality, but it's the first thing that pops up. If everybody's stuff's all blurry, that's the disable resample thing. If your stuff's all blurry, if the color correction is bad or non-existent,
my color correction was non-existent when you subscribed to me, but anyways.
Hey, I helped you with that, and I'm glad you participated in actively seeking out better color correction. Your stuff looks good.
I just use the default Elgato color correction now, but which actually changes the way the game looks when you're playing it as well.
Yes, it does.
Which makes it look interesting.
I could read you off some just basic numbers, and it would change your life.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Okay.
I'll get with you after the show. But if
tomorrow, because it
sounds like a date. Anyways,
stop it.
It's coming out.
If we
don't bring Steven out. Don't do it. I hear that voice. I hear that voice. Don't do it.
If you're not going to put any work into making your video look any kind of decent quality, what is there to lead me to believe that you're going to say something that is intriguing enough to keep me around that I need to continue to watch? And I don't, like I said, most of the time I don't watch all of the video for the people that I even continue to watch. I'm there to hear what they have to say. But if you're not going to make it look good, what's to lead me to believe you're going to make it sound good too?
I think it's all about a first impression in that sense, which I completely agree with. If I click on it, the one thing I always tell, like, people who always, because I get occasional requests, even though I don't know why they're asking me, there's better people to ask, but ask, you know, how do you grow your channel, or how do you make better videos, or whatever, and I'm like, the number one thing that turns me off of a video when I see it is when someone, if I don't even have to watch the video to see this, if I see, you know, like, because you can see the description of a video without clicking on it sometimes, depending on how you're seeing the video and stuff. If the description says sorry, ... whatever it happens to be, I messed up my audio in this video, or I messed up the video. If you have a mistake in your video, if you have black bars on the side, if you forgot to disable resample, if your audio got messed up, don't upload that video, because all it's telling me is that you either don't know what you're doing, or you know what you're doing, but you're too lazy to fix your problems. So that's one thing that I always tell people. And as far as people who like ask me to critique their channels, most of that I get in private messages, not comments, and I never look, simply because I can tell most of the messages are copy pasted. Like, they'll say, "Hey TacticalOyster, I love your videos. They're awesome and funny," or whatever. It's like, my videos aren't funny. My videos are not about comedy. They're not. You don't watch my videos if you say my videos are funny. So you're clearly lying to me, just trying to get you might as well be spam commenting.
TacticalOyster, the most unfunny commentator on YouTube, right here.
I am serious. Dang it.
He is serious. Just watch his series Inside the Mind of Oyster.
I need some more
tough topics.
I need some more topics for that. But anyways, so, like, I usually don't watch those because, and I will admit that I spam commented at a time too. I think almost everybody spam commented at least once. I don't know if you guys have or not, but I went through that phase at least when I had like 40 subs. But like, I don't watch it when people send those messages to me, because it's like, I didn't do that at least, and I can tell you don't actually watch any of my videos. If it's somebody, if it's like an active sub, like who is commented on my videos before and has liked my videos and whatever, and they like decide to start a channel and they ask me about it or whatever, then I'll have to look at it. But if it's just some random dude who I'm 99% sure is faking anyways, then I don't.
You know what I don't get? I've got a couple messages recently in my inbox that was basically an invitation to apply for a contest for like a shout out Sunday, and the message was like, "Hey, we like your channel, we love your content, come check out our channel, we do shout out Sundays," or something like that. And I'm just like thinking, if you like my channel so much, why didn't you subscribe? Because they don't subscribe, they just spam you with this message, so you go subscribe and comment and blow up their channel.
I get that too.
That's stupid. Like, for me, like, as far as the lack of content and things like that, I treat this like a business. And I'm not saying it's going to be a business. It's not going to be my career or anything like that. But I think you have to have that business mindset if you want to be somewhat successful in doing YouTube, because it is a business. It can be a business. And if you treat it as such, then you and do the right things, like I said before, laying that foundation. And as far as I just try to be creative. Like, I'm a creative person. That's why I enjoy doing YouTube, because I can express my creativity alongside doing something I love, which is gaming, and finding different series or different topics and different things that I like to do, and allowing me to express myself via my channel is something that I think sets me apart, and I think is good. I think that's what YouTube's all about. It's being creative, expressing yourself, and that's what's going to help you generate more content, is being yourself, instead of trying to find the most up-to-date game or the most hot topic, or doing a Minecraft video just because that's what's popular. And I understand when you reach a certain point that you have to continue getting the revenue and do what's popular, but I also think you have to hold true to your values and maintain the reason why you started this. I think that's very important.
Yep.
Yeah.
About the business thing, I agree, because YouTube has as much competition and cutthroatness as most businesses, to be honest. Like, there's just many people trying to push you out of the way to get past you and trying to screw you over and trying to outdo you, as there is in most business situations, really.
Then it doesn't, and that doesn't make any sense. I mean, what you're fighting for is viewer time, and it's not the money; it's the viewer time, which does equate into money. I mean, you got 4 people here on this show to choose from. If you only have 30 minutes a day, you have to spend it.
Maybe 2 of us, maybe.
You have to spend it watching us. Then that's what you're fighting for. That's what a YouTuber fights for, is putting out the quality that yes, I will spend 5 of my 30 minutes watching your stuff, which is, I think, another reason why a lot of videos get 2 minutes worth of viewership and then they click away. But the other thing is that a lot of people say in 2 minutes everything that they were trying to say. And other than that, they have filler. I mean, I've got 2 more minutes worth of this demolition match. We have all done that. Maybe not a demolition match. We have. Amazing. I haven't watched all of your content. I just discovered you, but I'm sure that you have filled the last 45 seconds or minute of a video, not every video, but a single video, a couple of times with. I'm out of talking juice, but I've still got gameplay left.
I think everybody does that. I used to, a lot of the time, before, I always felt like if I had a full gameplay, I had to show the full gameplay, which I've moved on from that now because I realize you don't, because the gameplay doesn't matter. But I would always feel like if I've got an 8.5 minute gameplay, I need to show all 8.5 minutes of this gameplay. So if I'm done talking after 5 minutes about what I want to say, I'm just going to repeat what I said before in different wording and hope that nobody notices. That's kind of what I did for a while. So I think everybody's done it.
I usually try to keep different length gameplays based on what I want to talk about, and which sucks because I like to do demolition, and that's usually a 9 to 13 minute match, and I usually never have 9 to 13 minutes worth of anything to say on any particular topic, which was one of the reasons it sucks you don't get score streaks so well in Team Deathmatch, because that shortened games up pretty quick. But yeah, new topic.
Sure. I was just saying one thing. Yes, I've done what you guys are talking about. Though lately, I feel like I've been talking more than my gameplays. That's just as of me lately.
Like having not enough gameplay.
Yeah, so like I'll pick because what I do is I've got tons of gameplays saved up, and if I've got a topic, I can kind of guesstimate how long I'm going to talk about that topic and hit all the points I want to hit, and then I'll import that gameplay, get it ready, and then as I'm doing the commentary, I realize that I'm going a little bit longer than that, and that kind of seems to be what I'm doing as of lately. Yeah,
a lot of times I usually do my commentaries before I get gameplays.
That's good.
And then I'll try to get a gameplay, like if I'm doing if I do a 5-minute commentary, I'll try to play free-for-all that day, because I know if I play well, I can get a really quick free-for-all win that's 4 to 5 minutes long, and that, like, I'll play a game type that matches up with it. But I'll find sometimes I've watched, I do, like, a commentary, and I really get into it, and like, I look up, and it's, like, 17 minutes long. And I'm like, now I've got to go play Headquarters, because that's the only game play. And I hate Headquarters, but I have to play Headquarters so I can get a long gameplay.
That's funny.
That's the most aggravating thing to me.
Headquarters
sucks, because nobody plays the objective in it.
Exactly. That's why I don't like it.
I'm always on the team where nobody plays the objective, and they capture the Headquarters within 10 seconds of it popping up, and then you just get slaughtered.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Feed the fire.
Feed the fire.
I've got two Feed the Fires, but I'll let Whackman go first to set the tone for this brand new segment.
You're good. Okay, well, okay. I almost introduced it earlier. Sleeping Marlins requested it. Here it is for you. Feed the Fire is a segment, since we've had to put rules on it, since it's actually going to be a segment. It's going to be political topics that may or may not be too deep in nature, but it's informing Bondfire of the world around him according to politics, and usually whatever's more popular in politics at the moment. probably going to do most of the deferment to Oyster on picking which one to talk about, because I've learned to calm myself down on politics a lot. I've stopped listening to a lot of people talk about politics because it gets me so irate. Oyster hasn't gotten there yet. So it's more fun to watch the passion. We're gonna let the passion flow. So what have you been passionate about?
So we're just gonna go with my two or one or whatever,
Yeah, that's fine.
and not with Whackman's. Whackman, will you type yours in the chat?
I didn't have one.
Oh, I thought you had one.
No.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I fully
Okay,
depended
that's
on
fine.
you today.
That's fine. I've got two. One of them's kind of quick, so it's not really like political per se, but it's kind of interesting. Is that I don't remember the time frame. Within the last few weeks, at least, the government has confirmed the existence of Area 51, but they still won't say what's in it.
I actually didn't know that. That's awesome.
You did not know that.
I did not.
What do you think's in it, Bonfire?
What do I think's in Area 51?
Yes. What do you think's in Area 51?
He's below you at the moment. But.
Oh. This mirror camera's messing me up.
Part of me wants it to be like an alien spacecraft or something.
That's
Just
probably what it
because
is. Most likely.
like as a younger Bonfire, me and my family, like mostly my mom, we watched the X-Files, and I loved that show. I still love it to this day. It's great, and it a lot about aliens, and I don't know. I used to, go outside at night, kind of look at the sky and like see if I could see any UFOs and things like that. And again, remember, this is younger Bonfire, like 8, 9, so a younger, very young Bonfire. And just knowing that is true, I think would be very, very interesting and just change my outlook on life. But then the other part of me, and again, not to dive into too much, we'll just say the religious part of me doesn't know if I want to believe that.
Fair enough.
There's nothing in that place, dude. This is it's an Air Force base where they needed plenty of room and open space to have all kinds of aerial trials.
At the very least, there's U.S. military technology that's beyond anything that's in use today. There's at the very least there's highly advanced stuff that we have never even heard anything about that's being tested there. So I think there's alien prisoners there.
Here's my theory. There's no aliens. So here's my theory on.
That's your opinion.
It's because it's true.
Okay.
100% of aliens don't exist, and I did not make that statistic up.
Excuse me. If an alien crash landed in my backyard last night and I killed him and dragged the body into my house, you would never know. So if an alien crash,
you show it on 3-bar exploits because I want to see that.
Well, I'd most likely make a vlog with it like over my shoulder for YouTube money. However, if
you would get like a bazillion hits too.
If the government if aliens crash landed anywhere in the United States, which I'm not saying they have, but or any country, the government of that country would have whatever craft or body or whatever resulted from it. So,
interesting.
My government needs.
Go ahead.
My government needs a place to. My government needs a place to test, keep, and store things that are better than the rest of the world's to keep me safe. I don't want to know about them because if I know about them, then all of my country's enemies can also know about them. If you've got a plastic gun that shoots air at such a high rate of speed that it'll kill a man at 100 paces, I don't need to know about that technology. Please use it to keep my people safe. That's all I'm asking. And if Area 51 is where that technology exists, and I think probably so, never let a camera in. I'm good with it.
Fair enough. Whackman, you always bring it down to earth. You do.
What a downer.
But if the aliens are there.
Yeah, it worked. It worked really well.
I see what you did there.
I thought it was pretty good.
I'll admit that. But if there are aliens there, Whackmed, we need a camera in there.
There's no such thing as aliens.
We need to know, in your opinion. In your opinion. Anyways. In other political news.
No, wait a minute.
Whoa.
Maze Man, what about the aliens?
My personal feelings on Area 51 at this point is it's a front. There's nothing there. if you even
So you're saying it's in Area 52?
It most likely something along those lines. It's in a completely different location. If you read the stuff about Roswell, the remains and everything they took, they didn't take to Roswell. To Area 51. They took it all the way to Dayton, Ohio, where there's another kind of Air Force base that a lot of that stuff is at. But just because of how much exposure Area 51 gets now, they wouldn't keep anything of any kind of great importance there. Anything that is really high tech is all underground. It's not above ground in bunkers or anything like that.
Speaking of aliens,
Maze Man just conspiracy the conspiracy theorists.
I like it.
Speaking of aliens,
There goes that
Area
UFO
51.
over your
there it is.
wherever you live in, house, apartment.
It just comes back and forth. It's crazy. In 2015, Independence Day 2 comes out.
Ooh.
For those of you that didn't know.
Yeah, I thought there was more to
Not
that.
excited?
Oh, I'm excited. I thought the first one was pretty cool.
First one was good.
It's great.
Even though it's fiction, though, Whack makes he doesn't believe in aliens, but
Well,
some of us it might be fact.
if aliens existed, it'd still be fiction, but
Well, it could be based on a true story. Could be based on a true story.
so was Titanic.
You don't know what's happened.
So was Titanic.
Okay.
Okay.
And yet Leonardo DiCaprio is still with us today.
Yeah, I'm putting something in the chat for you guys. It's a link.
That is a long link.
I know. I
see Reddit.
Spam in the chat.
All you gotta do is click it.
Whoa!
Shit.
What the heck is that?
Whoa!
That is a dried out stingray, and it looks. The only reason why I showed you guys because it looks like the Men in Black alien.
It does.
So hold on. Let me see if I can.
Bring
It
it
kind
in.
of looks like the Independence Day alien too.
Yeah.
Kinda. I see.
Yeah. So that's the only reason why I kind of brought it up was just because the whole alien.
Wait, it was a dried out what? What did you say?
It's a dried out stingray.
The stingrays are front. They're aliens. They're aliens. I'm calling it. Stingrays are front. Stingrays are government engineered aliens that they've put in the water.
There we go.
Take out Steve Irwin, right?
Yes.
That guy was great.
There we
That was
go.
a
I think I
champ.
got it. Yeah, I think I got it now, so that everybody sees it. Oh crap. Okay. Everybody can see it now.
What am I seeing?
No,
I'll see
I
it.
mean
No,
the people
in the video.
people watching the show can see it.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah, the important people can see it, right?
Technology.
That's
man.
you.
There we go.
Viewers.
There you go.
You people.
I saw something interesting today. I know this is random, but it just popped in my head because it was so cool. Is this
Is it
like
about aliens?
No. It's about octopus.
Okay.
The stingray. You kind of see where I'm going there.
Yes.
So it's like this oceanographer dude, I don't know, who studies octopus. He was trying to figure out why octopus can go camouflage, and it was this video of this underwater seaweed thing. It looks like nothing's there, and he's just swimming by it, and all of a sudden the octopus gets out of camo and inks him and goes away. But it's crazy because I didn't know octopus could change their skin to adapt to whatever, and they do it based on sight, not feel. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, some of them even glow. And it'll,
it's
move across
crazy.
The body did some crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they also showed one that would basically formed itself into a ball and looked like a rock, as it was just. And it's like a tactic they do to obviously fool predators, and they slowly move across the ocean floor to get to a safer spot, and they just look like a rock. It's crazy, and they can just camouflage. It's crazy, and he's trying to understand what makes them camouflage, how they can do it, and basically it was interesting because they said the definition of camouflage is basically not to blend in with the environment, but basically to trick whoever's looking for you.
Right.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. Random topic, random thing, whatever. It was cool. I wish I had something to give you guys a thing.
A photo. I've seen some of the videos of it, and it's pretty cool what octopus can do, or octopi. We're looking at the plesiosaurus.
Check out that. I was about to say, check out that link that Blackman dropped in the chat.
Oh, so now I got to put that on screen. I can do that.
Wait, what? Is that the Loch Ness Monster?
It's something that was caught in a Japanese fishing boat off the coast of New Zealand.
And it's what, like a dinosaur?
Okay,
Yeah,
I officially
well-
like this segment because I'm just getting informed of awesome stuff.
So this thing was found in 1977, as the other people can read on the screen, and it's a dinosaur that never made it to fossil fuel. And what they're supposing is it's come from such a low oxygen count, low where it was at in the ocean, it had no ability to degrade, and so it has just existed. So I'm saying that things like this, I got no problem with them existing. There could still be live ones out there for all I care.
What?
So,
Yeah, especially since most of the ocean is undiscovered and
yeah,
it'd be the best spot. So kind of going with the whole urban myth or kind of mysterious things, what are you guys' feelings on Bigfoot?
I'm gonna have to timestamp this whole segment. This is awesome.
This is good.
Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra. Chupacabra's real, okay. But
Why
all
do you say
other
that
stuff-
as opposed to Bigfoot?
Because there's been like visual proof of Chupacabra.
What is
Like,
chupacabra?
it's like a Mexican
A
dog,
mage mutt, kinda?
like wolf kind of thing that basically just like destroys you.
What about the Mothman?
The Mothman.
I've heard
Yeah,
of that
that movie,
vaguely,
Mothman
but I don't
Prophecies?
really know anything about what that is.
I don't know too much about it, but I remember watching the movie and it was crazy.
Of course, there's also visual evidence of the Slender Man existing.
Yes. This is getting...
The Slender Man is real. The Slender Man is real.
What?
Have you guys played that
You know
game?
the story of Slender Man, like where that all originated?
No, do you?
Yes,
Please tell me.
I know the story.
Um,
but I'll let you tell it.
it's-
Somebody
I believe
inform me. This is good.
It's German. It's from the German. Germany has a lot of really, I think it's called the Black Forest. Has you've ever heard of that? And it was kind of
Is
just
that
a
where
really
the ham
thick-
comes from?
Yeah, that's where the
Okay,
Black
cool.
Forest ham
I'm
comes.
with you.
It's-
I got you.
If you get real big into history or like anything with like the Mongols and stuff like that, the Black Forest is a big like strategic spot in Germany.
Okay.
But basically, it was just about a guy who would take little kids into this very dark forest, and they would just disappear. It's kind of really a pedophile more than a serial murderer.
That's kind of sad.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
I wish I wouldn't have known that now.
I do too.
All I know is I've done lots of research into this kind of stuff, and there's video footage out there that
Of the Slender Man?
that looks more not fake than it looks fake. Of glimpses of the Slender Man. That's all I'm saying.
When
What
were
is-
these
now, what
videos
is-
dated?
What is Slender Man? Because all I know is it's like a guy in a suit that sneaks up on you. Anybody can
And
go
he's
boo
white.
in the dark.
It's
Yeah.
like a guy in a suit with no face that's like really tall, and if he sees you, it like paralyzes you and kills you.
Dude. Seriously though, have you guys
Medusa?
played that game?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
have.
played the game. Yeah.
I
haven't
haven't
collected
but I've
all
watched
8
videos, and
pages.
It's freaky as... Yeah. I don't know. It freaks me out. I get into that kind of stuff. You turn
I'm
on
getting
the
freaked
lights.
out by having this conversation.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
my window's open right there. Slender Man's probably like looking at me.
I've
Yeah,
got,
but it's not
looking
2 in the
at
morning where
I've
you're
got a
at.
dark room behind
Hear
the
that?
curtain right there. I've got a window behind me. I'm
At least
starting
I got
to
the
get
bus
freaked
going
out.
by.
I don't like
There
to
it
be
is.
freaked out, okay? I'm the guy that got up and left Jeepers Creepers because it was... I got scared, dude. I got up and left.
I'll give you that. I saw that when a younger Bonfire was a little terrified.
I don't have any
On
problem with not wanting to watch. I don't have any problem with not wanting to watch horror movies. I could say that'd be different. Whereas, like, I'm someone who believes aliens are real. Like, all jokes aside, I don't necessarily believe that that aliens have come to Earth and that we have aliens like in Area 51. That's more of a joking thing. Although I wouldn't be surprised. But it's like, I believe that somewhere, in the universe, there's an alien race of some kind. So, but like, it's genuinely frightening to me to think about it. Like, if they were
now,
on Earth.
If I believed
So it's
in,
the same thing with like the Slenderman, Chupacabra, whatever it may be.
if I believed in aliens, I would be more frightened of horror movies than I am now. If there was the possibility of spooky things being there, then I would be even more frightened than knowing that they're not.
But the possibility is definitely there. If you look at it from a mathematical standpoint, of how many stars there are, and so how many, of the perfect kind of Earth.
Inside the
planets
Mind
out
of
there.
Oyster has been made about this. Just throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into it, if you ask any kind of astrophysicist, they will tell you that it would be naive to think that there's not life somewhere out there. But my whole thing is, do we really want to contact them if there is? I mean,
If we contact them, I said this in my video. Let me get another ching. If we contact them, we're all good, because that means that we have the technology to get to them, but they don't have the technology to get to us, which means overall our technology is greater. If they get to us,
we can't get
we're screwed.
to them.
No, but I'm saying hypothetically though, you said would we want to contact them? If we contact them, that implies that we find them and we seek them out.
You're right. The one that initiates the contact, you would think in theory has the better technology because they were the ones that were able to find.
Right. That's the whole theory. The whole theory is if spaceships roll up next to Earth, any space, as far as we can see, with our technology, there's no aliens. So if someone can travel through space farther than we can see through space, then they're obviously going to have better technology than us, and vice versa for us contacting somebody else. So, long story short, the Chupacabra's real. Loch Ness Monster's not. Bigfoot is not. Slenderman maybe.
What's wrong with Bigfoot?
I was gonna say this, Oyster. You know how you talked about like you can watch horror movies and not be scared about certain things because you know they're fake or whatever. But let's say you believe it. Like for me, I watched the very first Paranormal Activity. I saw it in theaters based on just rumors because that movie, that's how it got big, was word of mouth. And that movie literally scared the crap out of me. And I know it was low budget. If you take it for exactly what it is, it's stupid.
Dad. He's the only that's the only horror movie that's ever scared him.
Yeah, it literally freaked the crap out of me, and here's why. Because I do believe in demons, and I do believe in ghosts, and I think those things, basically what happened in that movie, possession, I believe is very real, and that's why it scared me. So, do you have anything applicable to that? Like, if you believe in certain things, don't you think it would be scary as far as a scary movie?
Well, I know some of us here are religious and some aren't.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get into religious talk, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick point about it. It doesn't have anything to do with whether religion is right or wrong or anything. A friend of mine brought this up to me because he talked about going ghost hunting with some of his friends or stuff, and I'm like, really, you believe in ghosts? And he said, well, I'm a very religious person, and if you believe in God, then you have to believe in the devil, because that's just how it works. If you believe in God, if God exists, the devil exists. So theoretically, if you believe in God, if you believe in angels, all that, you have to believe in possession and demons and ghosts and all that stuff too.
Well, wait a minute. Ghosts would be a little bit
okay, maybe
separate.
not ghosts. Never. Yeah.
Well, there's qualifiers on that as to what the ghost would actually be. I'm sorry, that's not your topic. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways, but the general concept though, of believing in demons and paranormal things like that, you would have to believe in the devil and demons if you believed in God and angels. So if I were more of a religious person than I am, then the idea of demons and stuff would scare the crap out of me. Personally, because if I believe that, I would have to believe it. So, and I don't know if anybody here wants to openly talk about that aspect. If you don't, that's fine. But it's just a thought that I had. So,
I mean, I don't know. I believe in that stuff, and like you watch those movies, like the exorcism movies. Like the most recent one that I've seen that I can.
The most recent one I saw was the spoof Haunted House. So I don't know if anybody else saw that. It was pretty funny.
No,
it's like a spoof. It's basically like a Paranormal Activity spoof. But anyways, you should check it out.
The most recent exorcism movie I saw was like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and just the whole premises of the plot of an exorcism movie freaks me out.
It's a really good movie too.
Yeah, I mean they're great movies, but it freaks me out. Like I believe that stuff is very real. It's very plausible, and I want nothing to do with that, because like you see all those shows, like the ghost hunter shows and all that, whatever. But like I would never go ghost hunting. I would never go looking for that. I don't want that stuff. Agree. I don't want those encounters. Holy crap! I mean,
I agree.
Nothing good can come from it. Oh.
Mason, you want to hit it?
Actually, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, being the one that is the deeper. I don't want to step on anybody else's toes, but I'm assuming I'm the deepest religious person here. Your assertions are absolutely correct. If you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. If you believe in the Bible, you have to believe in God and the devil. If you believe, it's a part and parcel thing. You can't do just one, and it doesn't make sense otherwise. Now, it may not be that you believe in Jehovah, Yahweh, God. You believe in another different all-powerful deity that is essentially the same thing that doesn't contain the Bible, or maybe you just believe that the Bible doesn't exist, doesn't really work with the theory of God, but I'm not going to step on what it is that you do believe. However, if you're going to sit with the Yahweh being real, then you have to take in the rest of it. The heaven, hell, judgment, the Bible, demons, angels, and their actions here on earth right now. And without diving deep into the religious aspect of what the Bible does say about demons and their activities here on earth, even now, I'll sum all that up into saying they do exist. The faith part of me, the study that I've done on it, their ability is limited, extremely limited from what it used to be. Just like the acts of miracles are extremely limited as far as what they used to be. And that's something that's a comfort to me, even knowing that they do exist. And watching the exorcism of Emily Rose, oh man, chills, because
I don't know what that reference is. Is that like a movie or is that like
it's a movie? Yeah, it's a movie where
it's based on a true event.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, the Catholic Church still trains people to become exorcists.
The Catholic Church is so
of course, the Catholic Church is a controversial.
that's another whole but I mean to stay off of that, knowing what the limitations are, studying deep enough into the figurative language of the Bible to say that the limits that have been placed on them. If you're going to believe in God, you believe in the limits that He places on the devil as well. I'm okay. I don't have that fear. So it's
what's
and he looks behind him. That's cool. It was like on cue.
There's a big horror movie that came out recently. Does anybody remember the name of it? It was like one of the biggest.
Conjuring.
The Conjuring. That was it. I couldn't remember the name. I didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
I'm not a horror movie person, but basically the story, if you guys don't know, is about like it's based on a true story of these people who were ghost hunters. This couple, or demon hunters, were investigators of this, whatever you want to call them,
paranormal investigators.
Yes, that is the actual official term.
Yep. Ghostbusters.
And they basically like. I did some reading on these people, like what they really did, like in real life, like who they actually were.
I did too.
And they were like there was like solid evidence. Now whether you want to believe them or not, but there's like solid, supposedly factual evidence of like ghost encounters and demon encounters and stuff and haunted places, and I don't know what to believe. I really hope I hope it's all BS. I don't know.
It's just hard to yourself out over there, man.
Yeah,
I am, man. I am actually.
What's interesting about that couple is they also did the investigation on the Amityville horror.
Right.
And I read it. It was like some news article about it because The Conjuring was coming out, so it's probably to help promote the movie as well as why they did the article. But that couple, they've like solemnly swore to never go back to the Amityville house ever because it was that bad. To me, that says something. Like to never want to go back to a place because whatever you experienced was that bad. Ugh.
Let's not discount the power of the human mind.
Sure.
And
that could have been insane.
The thing is, if you build yourself up into a friend, like we were just talking about Oyster, you're working yourself up. You're going to be scared of anything. Something drops in the house next to you. It's immediately going to be the boogeyman, and not the cat knocking over a poster.
And that's exactly what I was going to touch base on. Is one of those things that whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. The mind has ways of playing tricks on you that you can never imagine. Like you lived in the same house for 20 years and you're home alone, and next thing you know, you don't want to go down the basement, just because of something could be down there. And once that thought or that mindset's in your head, you can't get it out. You know what I mean? You're having problems sleeping, and in the same thing. As far as the religious side of things, I try not to worry about things that I can't control, and I'm not a super religious person. I just kind of live by the golden rule of, do unto others. But that's the big thing. If I can't control it, it's not worth my, my conscience thinking about it nonstop. You can only keep moving forward. Yeah, I know. You can only, you can only control what you can control. In other words, don't worry about it.
Can we schedule that sound to come back for every episode, because it just shows up perfectly on cue?
It usually happens on every episode on mine.
I gotta open the window because it gets so hot in here. So
get a fan.
But then I got that blowing. Yeah, I like natural air.
Eat beans.
We got good air up here in Oregon.
But
good stuff.
We kind of avoided the topic of where you guys really felt on Bigfoot. I know Oyster says Bigfoot, but Chupacabra is there.
I'm just going off facts, man. Chupacabra's out there, and he's coming to get you.
It's still, there's no DNA evidence.
Paranoia, boogeyman is coming to get you.
Yeah, I'm far too north for the Chupacabra as well. But as far as the Bigfoot, where do you two sit on it?
So, Bigfoot has to be qualified for me. If it's a man with man intelligence that is a big hairy beast, I'm not getting it. If it's some kind of modified version of an ape or otherwise monkey type being, monkey type intelligence, super awesome hiding ability to not be found, completely plausible.
Now, I'm interested in how you feel about Bondfire being from Seattle, because the Pacific Northwest is a really big
That's its
hotspot.
home. That's where it lives, yeah.
People don't realize how kind of thick the whole woods are there, and how you just go a couple miles off the beaten path and there is nothing, there's nobody. And it's very plausible for something to be living up
very
there.
applicable to me right where I am. I mean, you could just drive down the street. You get on the highway, you take the next exit, you're a mile down, you're like in the middle of nowhere. So, but for me, I'm going to say no, just because I don't feel like there's enough evidence yet. But
unlike the Chupacabra, where there's plenty of evidence, just get a link.
Why don't you link that? Link the DNA evidence.
It would take me too long to find actual good evidence, but I'll try to put something together in the next few days.
Good evidence. Okay.
No, it takes some digging. I'll put something together and send it to you. I'll tweet it.
I'm gonna do a Google search while Bonfire's talking.
But like part of me is so fascinated by that concept that it could potentially be real that like I want it to be real almost. Do I want to encounter it? No. That's why I don't live in the woods like a hermit. But I don't know, and that's part of me like why like I go see those types of movies like The Conjuring and things like that. Like I haven't seen that movie, and I don't know if I will see that movie because the whole concept freaks me out. But part of me wants to, just because I'm so fascinated by that. But again, I don't know. Bigfoot, nah. Snowman, nah.
Snowman.
Do you really keep checking your shoulder? Like, are you really bugged out right now?
You talking to me?
Yep.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I don't know.
My mind's changed subjects for you.
No, I'm actually watching the Chupacabra video right now.
If you're all about that YouTube money anyways, you getting attacked by a Bigfoot or something like that on camera would be great for you.
Yeah, dude.
Listen,
I'm telling you, a million hits, easy.
If anything comes out of that room right there and kills me, and Whackman gets it on tape, you better upload that.
You dang right, that's a million bazillion views.
I'm just saying, go and keep it underground.
That's why you always pack heat. Bigfoot, got a little heat coming around, a little pop pop. He ain't around so much,
Depends on what you're shooting.
Sure, if you're shooting a BB gun, that's not going to do it, but... yeah.
I'm looking for Chupacabra evidence. Like, the first one is like a news story. It was posted like 2 days ago, and I clicked on it. I was like, oh, cool. We're going to find him some evidence real quick. Malnourished dog. Okay, that's not it.
As I say, most time it comes up as a dog with mange.
Yeah.
Like all the mythical creatures, whatever you want to call them, aliens, like the ghosts and all that, even though ghosts is a little separate from it, but I'm just so fascinated by all of it. I don't know, the lore of it, the stories, evidence, all that. I don't know. It just fascinates me.
What's weird about the chupacabra is it's supposed to target small children, right?
It's like sheep and cattle and stuff like that. It's supposed to have like almost hollow teeth, so it's like a vampire aspect of it as well.
Okay. I've only seen a couple of limited shows about it, but I thought it was like a wolf type vampire werewolf.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
What is this video you just posted? Is this like a chupacabra like that's gonna scare the crap out of me?
No, it's a dead chupacabra.
Is this one in San Antonio? Yeah. This one's a couple years old, right? This is the one that it comes back as a manged mutt.
That's just part. That's one of many, though. That's one of many possible.
One of many mangy dogs.
And it's the only one. It's the only one that I can watch right now.
Yeah, there was one that
spending too much time looking.
That they actually had that was really recent that they thought was a chupacabra in it.
Now, if I weren't paranoid for this conversation already, I'd go find the Slenderman video because that looked real. It looked real.
Please find it right now.
I'm interested in the date of it, whether or not it was before or after the game came out.
I won't be able to sleep.
That would be a really good point.
We can game all night. I don't care. It'll be fun. Anyways,
I'll do it if somebody would get on Xbox and play Call of Duty with me after this. Because I will be so paranoid if I watch a bunch of Slenderman videos and then get to bed.
Go play Xbox afterwards. You'll just get pissed off in about 10 minutes, and you can go to bed then anyway.
Yeah, right. I'll find it tomorrow.
First of all, that video about the chupacabra. You see that dude who's talking? Hi, I'm from Texas. I'm missing my front tooth.
Jerry,
that's stereotyping. He could be an expert on the local wildlife of Texas.
I love Texans. Come on, great state. Anyways. But that guy, I don't know if I can believe that dude.
That's one video of hundreds.
That's one hoax out of hundreds.
Slenderman, put it up. I want to see it. That's what I'm more interested in.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Slenderman video as well that you speak.
Okay,
because I'm fascinated with this type of stuff.
So
I'm probably going to close my blinds here in a second.
Let's talk about a different topic while I look for the Slenderman video.
Since we're talking about dogs and maybe not dogs, maybe true real chupacabra. Random question time.
Ooh, I like
You're the last on Earth with a limited amount of human companionship. So you're not like the last person on Earth, but most people are gone. Post-apocalyptic.
Sense bestiality.
Okay. You get to choose a companion. The other race will be gone. Not race. The other species will be gone. Cat or dog? Maze Man. Limited human companionship. So this is going to be like your best.
I either get a cat or a dog.
Cat or dog. In multiple, if you want.
Preferably, I prefer pussy, but I am a cat person. But I'm allergic to cats.
Not allergic.
As far as everything else being gone, a dog's much more of a companion. I mean, a cat's like, forget you. This is my area. You're just staying here.
They're very independent.
And it kind of reminds me of the I Am Legend. Have you guys seen I Am Legend?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fantastic.
It's him and his dog. You definitely have a different connection with the dog than you do with the cat. So I definitely would have to go with the dog.
Okay. I'll go. I got to go with the dog too. I'm a dog owner myself. Even though I grew up with cats, like that's my family's always had. Kind of weird. But about almost 5 years ago, I got very first dog. He's my own. He's literally my best friend. I love that guy to death. I couldn't imagine life without him. So dog for sure.
What kind of dog?
He is a puggle, which is half pug, half beagle.
So in this scenario, what kind of dog do you want?
Well, if it was in this scenario, I would probably go with I'm very fond of the huskies. If I were to get a big dog, it would be like a Siberian husky, like almost wolf-like.
Eat your face off at night when you're sleeping. It's
my friend, though. It's not going to eat my face.
Right, this companion.
He's my best friend. But, yeah, so probably that, just because I think it would be appropriate to have a bigger dog, not only for protection, but, for, like, smelling, tracking, like, killing stuff. So. But I love my dog. Like, I don't know if I could get a different type of dog, like, in real life. He's awesome.
What you got, Oyster?
And and they're also adorable when they're puppies.
I'm going with dog. Because I'm allergic to cats, and I've always had a dog, so I like dogs better.
Man, all these cat allergies.
If you weren't allergic to cats, would that change either of your minds?
Not mine.
No, just because the companionship's not the same. It's not even close to the same.
Sweet. I'm also with a dog. I hate cats with a passion. Add that to your list, PETA. I hate cats.
They're shutting you down, buddy.
Shut me down, dude. I hate cats, and I'm not alone. Look, the cats hate Maze Man and Oyster. How could I like them? So, okay, I'm gonna twist the question a little bit.
Okay.
You're the last one on Earth, or the last of a group on Earth with limited human companionship, and this is also a scenario where there's limited food resources. So this is also going to be, instead of a companion for you, sustenance. Hello, PETA. Oh, I love Bonfire's face right now. That's awesome. He's like, I don't want to eat my
I was digging for the
dog.
Slenderman video, so I need you to repeat it because I was.
Basically, you want to eat a dog or a cat. I mean, that's what he's asking.
You gonna eat a dog or a cat?
Yep. So you're the last person on Earth. You got to have a companion, but you're gonna eat them because you're hungry.
Oh God, I don't know, dude.
I'm preparing you for ghosts.
I don't want to answer that.
I'll answer that.
There you go.
I ain't got a problem with that.
I
mean, to me, that's an open shut case. A cat is fucking tiny, right? I'm gonna need a lot of meat, and if it's for substance, the whole thing is, you're really not gonna get that much more out of either one of them. I mean, you're gonna get a week's worth of food. You don't have a way to store the meat, so I mean, the meat's not gonna be cured. So you're really looking at how long before the meat spoils. The only thing I could think of is maybe you can get a dog to kill some. So there's no other anything, just one human, one dog.
Well, I mean, I like where you're going with it, but I mean, I wasn't trying to limit the focus that much. I was just saying this is also, you know, if you got a herd of cats or a herd of dogs, you're going to be dipping into their stores when yours get low. You're going to be dipping into them when your stores get low for, you know, we haven't been able to kill any rabbits today. Sorry, Sparky.
Yeah, I mean, because a dog can give you a chance at being able to hunt. A cat, what's a cat going to bring you? A mouse without a head? You're not going to eat that. You know?
So you're hungry enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but you know what I mean? I'm going to hope the dog can catch me a rabbit or something, you know?
Help me catch a deer.
Yeah, I don't know if a dog's going to catch a deer, though.
It happens.
It's a trained killer.
Maybe a pack of wolves.
That's why you get a wolf.
Fox. They could catch a fox or.
Yeah, I mean they might be able to catch
a hog. They could catch. Hog. They could catch. No. Dogs were actually specifically bred for catching animals, other animals.
But aren't they more for not catching them but cornering them?
Well, participating in the hunt, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So then that the human can actually go there and kind of give that final blow. But I mean, yeah, I'm still gonna go with dog.
I'll play devil's advocate and go with the cat, and here's why.
Because you like to eat pussy. Sorry. It's getting late.
Touche. That was pretty good. I don't know if I could top that. I was gonna say something like don't the Chinese like cook it up real good over there, so it's probably gonna taste good.
It was a Pinterest post, or it was a real marquee sign in front of a Chinese restaurant. I know exactly what you're
thinking of.
Yeah, it's a real marquee sign in front of a Chinese restaurant that said, "No, we don't have your we don't have your cat. Quit asking."
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we know see your cat.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's funny. Anyways, where's my Slender Man?
I can't find it right now.
It doesn't exist.
No, trust me. Okay, so I remember everybody, all the people in my school were like obsessed with the Slender Man as like a joke at first, but then we all started watching all these like documentaries and stuff, right? And it started to kind of add up. But then I saw all of them were fake, right? I could tell all of them were fake, but there's one video, just one that I
tell was fake.
That I can remember clearly in my mind that looked. I don't want to go as far as saying it looked real, but it didn't look fake. Like, if it was fake, they did a really good job of making it fake. Of making it look real. And the only reason I can't find it right now is because I don't feel like I was just looking at the thumbnails of the videos. I don't feel like going through and watching all these videos because I'm trying to actually focus on the show too. So tomorrow I will sort through Slenderman videos and try to find the one.
Should have the most views, right?
No, not necessarily. It's all about how you.
That's not as much fun. It's going to be daylight. Show's over. You're not going to be scared.
I'm sure we can come up with some other creepy stuff for him to look up, right? No.
Could. We could.
I saw something called the rake creature while I was looking at Slenderman video.
The rake.
The rake, like R-A-K-E.
R-A-K-E.
What is that?
Let me Google image it real quick because it looks creepy.
You wake up and all your leaves are raked up for you, and
hallelujah.
Hell yeah, the rake creature was here.
I hate yard work.
Oh geez, that thing's scary looking.
That's better than the tooth fairy coming by right there. It's like Santa Claus comes in August. Sweet.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Wow, getting
Shirley's
quiet.
gonna post
Fill
something.
time. Everybody's looking for videos.
I'm looking at the. I guess it's supposed to be the rake creature or whatever.
This is redirecting me somewhere. Is this spam?
It's not a porn site, is it?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh yeah, it's redirected me too.
Hey, it's redirected me too.
What is it?
What
I want
the
to Google
heck is that?
images.
That just
and
is that's a dude wearing an animal.
Click link 2 though.
I'm looking
Oh
at the
my
rake
God.
image here.
The
What was
rake.
that?
You see that ghostly picture? I am terrified right now.
What is that guy on Street Fighter that's got those like claws or whatever? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Say click link.
There's an
2.
octopus on this picture. Are you kidding me?
Which one?
Oh
the
Jesus
rake?
Christ! There's Slender Man.
Look away! Look away!
Look away! He's got him. He's got him.
Okay. I'd seen this picture, the one that's the photoshopped one that was caught on the camera. Is that the one you guys looking at? Where you can
Which
see
one?
its eyes. The eyes are glowing. Looks like it's like a black and white.
Oh, that freaky
Bottom.
one?
Yeah, that freaky one.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
You guys ever watch Joe Rogan Questions Everything? Or Questions Anything?
No, but that sounds like a good show.
It's a pretty good show. Joe Rogan is one of those podcasts I listen to. It's pretty good content.
Dude, I don't like this game anymore.
But he talks about a lot of this stuff and how people make a lot of money photoshopping this shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is this second one?
I just saw a really
That
funny
we
picture.
hope are fake? Jeez. Slender Man. Oh, that's real good. That's a good picture. That's reassuring. Good thing I don't live in the forest. Slender Man.
Yeah, but
That's
you
the
live
rake.
in the forest.
That's creepy. Looks
I
The
like
like
how
problem
you
with
look
most
at
people who try to fake photos of whether it be Bigfoot, Slenderman, anything, is the photos are too good.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds that Slenderman's going to come out and you're just going to have perfect time to get your lighting exactly right and line up your camera perfectly and take a perfectly clear picture? Like, hang on, I've got a funny thing. This will stay. Just keep this in the chat. But I'm just going to send this. over to
Chat's
you
a
guys.
safe place.
Chat's a safe
I'm
place.
just going to send this over to you guys real quick. This comes from Google Images.
Is it gonna redirect me to spam?
It's a Giazzo. Calm down.
Alright.
Make sure you scroll over to the right when you open it so you can see the full thing. Or whatever. Just make sure you see the full thing.
I don't have to scroll to the right.
Okay,
I didn't have to
didn't.
either, but
I found that to be really amusing for some reason.
That is
that's just wrong.
How does
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I don't. What's the Slenderman's reel? The number 10?
Yeah, I guess.
How's that a real Slenderman?
I don't know. I just know it was weird, man.
That
I looked up real Slenderman, and that's like
how
the
you gonna
third
play
picture.
basketball against that guy? That's
So
what I want to
tall.
know.
It's an old
And-
picture.
What is an 8-foot black dude playing basketball with a bunch of white dudes?
BYU?
Like, really?
I think that's Manu Bull, though. think he's
Oh,
a real
wow.
NBA guy.
Like current NBA guy?
No, he would have retired in the either late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, I know him
That's
and
what I
8-Ball is.
Wow.
Yep.
So do we really want to follow this with the PS4 talk? Are we done?
I'll do whatever you guys want.
Let's talk about PS4,
All right.
and then we can wrap up. I'm tired.
That's what she
Unless
Oh, wait. And go.
That's our segue right there.
Some disappointing news for Sony. Check my video out.
said.
And we can wrap up there.
So PS4 is not going to launch with the ability to capture HDMI,
You are correct, sir.
and it may or may not be up to 4 years before they come out with a patch so that you will be able to capture with HDMI.
Where did you hear the timeline?
I didn't hear the timeline.
That's why
That's
I said
what
may or may not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was just say I haven't heard anything. I don't know his correct name, that YOSP on Twitter or whatever. He's like kind of a community manager for Sony.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's interesting that it's this close to launch. What we about a month and a half away or whatever that they finally came out and said, "Oh, we're going to correct this. We're going to correct this."
It is interesting. It's a good point.
I kind of did a video on it yesterday, just talking about where YouTubers and people who actually capture gameplay kind of sit in the hierarchy of the customer base for both Sony and Microsoft, and we're such a small percentage that I'm really not sure if we're even worth the effort for them. To be honest with you guys.
we're worth the effort in the sense that if you take not only the sales of us buying a console or a game, but then combine it with potential sales of the influence of the whole community, like obviously not me, most likely not me or not you or not any other person is going to single-handedly convince someone to buy a game, but the community as a whole, based on the community, how the community reacts, could influence people to buy games. I think even if the percentage of sales that we directly account for is only 5%, the possible influence is so much greater that it would have to be worth their time.
So I had a conversation about this at work
Oh, wait,
the other
can I
day.
throw one more thing in? I'm sorry to cut you off, but Bonfire, are you going to have to capture with a component like converter?
It doesn't
or?
have components.
No component.
So
I know, but can
Yeah.
you like a converter or something?
Yeah,
Or how are you going to
So there's going to... hold on.
Since you're getting the PlayStation, I figured I'd ask you.
No, that's fine. That's a valid question. I didn't address it in my video today because I didn't have enough time. But so I basically have one of two options at launch if there's no really close window for that patch. First of all, I personally think the patch is going to come 3 to 4 weeks after its release. Because I do think they're going to prioritize it because I think it's a big enough issue to not affect a huge number of sales, but I think it's a big enough issue to want to correct, if that makes sense. But I basically have one of two options to capture gameplay with my PlayStation 4 at launch before the patch, and that is to there's an adapter that you can, it basically mitigates the HDCP protection and allows you to bypass it. It's also considered illegal, so I won't be doing that, because if they catch you doing that and they see your gameplay and know that you have that device, you can get in some serious trouble. The other option is basically to stream my gameplays to Twitch via the share button, which I don't know. Again, we don't know the quality of that and how good it's going to look and all that stuff. And then basically pull it from Twitch, which is unfortunate. And that's unfortunately probably going to be what I'm going to be doing.
Ouch.
So yeah, it definitely sucks. And I said it in my video. This totally gives Xbox an advantage over the PlayStation 4 in regards to the YouTube community.
I would have flipped my pre-order if I had the PlayStation pre-ordered.
I know
you're committed enough to not do that, but like, I would.
So the thing is, if the quality loss by doing all that is substantial, but it is not insurmountable, and it can be done, and you'll be one of many that are doing that.
Yeah.
Using the modification, I didn't know that was illegal.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're bypassing
Yeah.
A
legal
copyright protector
barrier they put in. Yeah, so
Yeah, and I watched I watch Adam Sessler from Rev3 Games quite a bit. I love his commentaries, and I feel like he's one of the best game journalists in the industry, just from his perspective point, because he's very analytical. He's very good at what he does, and I find him very entertaining to watch. And he addressed this a little bit, and he talked about that this was before Sony made the announcement to allow the game capture, and then even before the patch announcement. And he basically said that if Sony were to enforce HDCP, it affects even him as a media person, because he does YouTube just like we do, but basically from a higher level and a media standpoint, it affects him. And he was saying that if you were to use those devices, those little bypassing devices, that it is in copyright infringement.
The other side of the argument that I addressed at work the other day is the statistic that I've heard, and this may be completely false, but it's probably more accurate than not, is that YouTubers make up about 10% of the gaming community.
I think I've heard that.
If YouTubers make up 10% of the gaming community, not me, because of my history here on Exploit, 3-bar exploits is why this is, it's the running joke that I don't buy very many games, but that 10% spends greater than 10%'s worth of the money on gaming and on gaming consoles. Now, the average person, and this is speculation, the average person is going to buy 5 games a year-ish. And I would say that that's one every 2 months. That's enough time to beat it, get a good feel and or feel for the game. And the average person, I expect, spends $300 a year on buying a game, and may or may not buy all the DLC. The average YouTuber will buy at least twice that, if not much more.
Well, if you throw in accessories and other stuff too.
Accessories.
Just looking outside of their games.
YouTubers are the people that buy headsets. YouTubers are the people that buy control freaks, squid grips, and for all of those accessories, check out Strictly Business Gaming. Whenever you look at the fact that this 10% of the community spends maybe 20% of the money in that, well, that's a substantial portion, and should be addressed. Added on top of that is Oyster's point of the free market advertising, the free advertising in the marketplace that you get by having, when you come up to an actionable object, that icon on your screen pop up as a box as opposed to an X, or not an X, it's a B. It pop up as it's an X as opposed to a box, or a Y as opposed to a triangle, to make this action happen or to perform this function in the game. And that's the same one I have, or that's guys on the other console. So there's that element of advertising as well. Plus, if you're on the PlayStation playing a game, you're probably going to not be unhappy with them and not all advertise badly or advertise negatively for them.
Right.
All right, I got something to kind of put in here. So you think that 10% of the gaming community are YouTubers, correct? That's the assumption?
That's what I'm thinking. That's my assumption.
Now, there was between the PS3 and the Xbox 360, there's 160 million consoles sold. So 10% of that would be 16 million.
Okay.
Correct?
I'll let you do the math. Go ahead.
16 million YouTubers. That number's way too high, right? I actually just did the math on it, and
okay.
I think it depends on your definition of the gaming community is, because I just now did some math in my head as well. Just even if you round the average Call of Duty lobby down to 10 players instead of 12, like I mean, this isn't a great analogy or whatever, but that's basically like saying every single Call of Duty lobby you get in, there's at least one YouTuber.
I'd say
If you think about it, like
that's not too far
10%,
off.
it's more or less 1 out of 10, 1 out of 12, whatever.
Yeah, but that's Call of Duty.
Yeah, but Call of Duty's the most. There's more Call of Duty people on YouTube than there is any other, as far as content creators.
What he's saying is he's agreeing with you. He thinks that number should be lower than 10%.
Yeah, I'm saying if Call of Duty's just barely 1 out of 10, then there's no way every other game's 1 out of 10.
Exactly. I actually, when I did it, I gave a rough estimate of there being 20,000 YouTubers who do gaming, which is, I feel like that's a fairly big number. It might even be a little bit of an overestimate. So you kind of look in there trying to do the math. I mean, just think about it. That's a lot of people doing YouTube. 20,000. And if you were to take 20,000 by the 160 million consoles sold, it's 1/10%.
I think that I appreciate you thinking about it, but the fact is I own 2 consoles.
Yeah, I mean that will come into play.
And not to mention if yours red like a Punk Man was talking about his Red Ring, he bought another one. I think that's right. I don't see most families who aren't hardcore into gaming buying more than one console. I don't see them. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No. I mean, you're right. Most people do buy. I mean, the hardcore gaming side buy more than one console. But even if you cut that number in half, you're still looking at, less than 1% of the community. If you keep it at 20,000 YouTubers.
Okay.
I think 20,000 is an underestimate.
You think 20,000 is an underestimate?
There are 500 YouTubers that have their channels specified as gaming, as their genre. Genre's not the right word, but if you will, genre, with at least 200,000 subscribers.
5,000?
500.
500. Okay.
But
that
still,
are over 200,000.
If you still think about that, think about the 200,000. Well, actually, I'm looking at Social Blade top 500 ranked YouTube gamers, and number 500, the 500th most subscribed YouTube gamer has 199,000. So let's just say 2,000. Make the math easy. If you think what percentage 500 out of 20,000, what is that percentage was? Like
25%.
No, 500.
No, 500.
1,000. 1,000 out of 2.5%. Yeah, 2.5%. So, do you think 2.5% out of all gaming YouTubers have 200K subs or more? I think it's a way less percentage that have 200K subs or more, which would tell me that there's more than 20,000. But that's just
probably close to that.
But at the same time,
I don't know. You're probably near.
At the same time, I don't feel like just buying a console makes you part of the gaming community. Like, if we say 10% of the gaming community, that doesn't mean 10% of people who buy a console. Because I know friends of mine who have an Xbox and they pick up one, or maybe they pick up Madden every year and maybe NBA and then maybe Call of Duty.
That only strengthens my position.
They play for an hour on the weekend. I know. I'm trying to strengthen.
They still are part of the gaming community.
I disagree. Because these are people like I had a friend. A perfect example is someone I picked up Madden last night. I downloaded it off on demand on Xbox Live for $60 because some of my friends from school were starting an online franchise mode, and I wanted to play with them, and they said, "Well, go ahead and get Madden. We'll invite you." And I said, "Okay," so I did, and one of them said, "Dylan, why would I buy an Xbox One? Like, what's the point of buying an Xbox One?" And that right there tells me. And they were saying, like, why do I need to buy a new console? What's wrong with my current console? That right there tells me that this person is someone who has no bearing on the gaming community. They don't follow it. They don't follow the news. So even though that person has an Xbox, I don't consider them part of the gaming community because they're not actively engaged in what's happening in the world of gaming. So I wouldn't say 160 million consoles equals 160 million gamers, to me.
Wow. Okay. I just...
Which strengthens Whackman's point.
I don't know. I think it's a little backwards. If you buy a console, you're part of the community. You got to remember the people who are on YouTube are a very small percentage of the community. Those are your hardcore gamers. I would say that they're not a hardcore gamer, but if you play one game a year, even if it's for a couple of days, you're still part of the gaming community.
I agree.
There are 46 million Xbox Live subscriptions.
Yep.
Okay.
There are 77 million Xboxes that have been sold.
Okay.
According to an article in Forbes.
So that's over half.
What's the date?
4/20/2013.
Here's kind of the way I look at it. So we're talking about what percentage, how big of a part of the community is YouTube in reality, whether it's content creators or viewers. And we're hung up on a disagreement of what makes you part of the gaming community.
Well, what makes you part of the gaming community is that you own a console, because you buy games for a console that you own.
But see, I think if you buy one console and you buy 2 games a year on that console and you don't pay attention to any kind of gaming news or anything, even
you're still part of the community. You're just an uninformed voter.
Yep.
So you're a consumer.
But what if they're not buying a new console? They're not doing any of that stuff. And my analogy is, if you were doing a survey of asking people what's the best team in the NFL, and you said, I'm going to limit this survey to NFL fans only, and people who know about the NFL, and you included people who had watched one NFL game, all they watch a year is the Super Bowl. They go to a Super Bowl party, that's the only NFL football they watch all year, and half of it's a social event, they don't really pay attention. Would you consider that person part of an NFL fan who you would have partaken in that survey?
No, but the thing is, to qualify,
so how is someone
the amount of qualification
5 years after it comes out and then barely plays any games, like plays once or twice a month and plays one or 2 games a year, and doesn't follow any kind of news, isn't informed on anything, doesn't do any. Forget YouTube. They didn't know about the Xbox One. They didn't know when the Xbox One was being announced, the PlayStation 4. They can't tell you one difference between an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One.
How about this? FIFA 14 came out for the PlayStation 2. These people aren't getting the new consoles. Are they not part of the gaming community?
If your most up-to-date console is a PlayStation 2,
you got to think you're got that American kind of ethnocentrism kind of going on, where there's other countries that don't have the luxuries we have. That is the new console for them, PS2.
That's true.
I think the problem is, Oyster. The problem is that you're trying to qualify what the limitations and specifications are. If by doing that, you have to make a perfect limit so that you can build a statistic. So what you would have to say is they bought one console and they buy 3 games a year, and that makes you not a part of the gaming community. The fact of the matter is that if they spent the same $400 for a console that I did, then they've got every right to be called part of the community, whether they're an active participant in the community or not. Is your argument? That's your argument, is whether they're an active member of the community.
Not Bonfire, but Bonfire. All three of you. If someone buys a guitar and I also buy a guitar, and we each own one guitar, and they never played in their life, and they play it once a year, and they know how to play 2 chords, and I play every single day, and I can shred like any song that exists. Are we both musicians?
You're not both gamers, but you're still part of the community.
Are we both musicians? Are we both part of the musical community?
If you play those 2 chords, yes. I know lots of people who have guitars and know a couple chords, and that's it.
Can we call it 3 chords? Because you can't play a song with 2 chords. It's just a bad song. It's a bad song.
I mean, according to
song.
Let's say 3 chords is 3 games.
If I plays it with
Hot Cross Buns only has 3 notes.
If I can't even form those 3 chords into a song, if I know just how to play 3 chords, but I don't know how to play them in a song, I don't use them. I touch my guitar once a year.
That distinction is up to him, not you.
Yeah, it's too. The thing is, like I said, you can't put a gray limit on a fine line. And the thing is, on top of the amount of money that is or is not spent, and I'm arguing with you, but you're helping me in that person is not the person that they're advertising to, because they may or may not buy the Xbox One or PS4, and the amount of money that they're going to spend maintaining that, be it DLC, buying new games, is going to be very low. So that's not the consumer that they're targeting. The consumer that they are targeting is the one who may or may not do YouTube, that buys 10 games a year and buys DLC for 5 of them. That doesn't buy all the DLC or season passes.
That person is most likely going to be influenced by YouTube.
The person that is most likely going to be influenced by YouTube, to further strengthen my point of whether or not the 10% is accurate, the percentage of people that are influenced by YouTube I think you're making a significant portion of the gaming community once you take into account the influence of YouTube, whether that means, like, I'm being heavily influenced by YouTube. I am personally. I'm still not buying Grand Theft Auto 5, no matter how much no matter how much content is put up on YouTube for Grand Theft Auto 5. It's just not me. That's not what I'm going to do. However, I've bought Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Payday 2. I bought...
We need to play that, by the way.
Yeah, we do need to play this. Mass Effect 3.
He's struggling to name games.
I am struggling to name games. I don't own that many, but I'm also trying to limit what I've bought specifically based on what YouTube has told me to buy.
Sure. I think you have to take the new consoles out of the argument, because with any product, you have your early adopters, which are the more hardcore people, and you have, late adopters. So just because one of the late adopters to a new product isn't going to buy it at launch doesn't mean that they're not going to buy it ever. I mean, you look at all the people that didn't buy the Xbox till the Xbox Slim came out, vice versa. So I think you kind of have to take that out of your argument, because I don't think it fits.
Well, it's like, but if we're talking about what percentage of the gaming community it makes up, like, it's a massive statistic. Like, you're massively skewing the statistics if you're including someone who buys 2 games a year and it's the new Madden and the new NBA game. So in reality, it's just the same game over and over, and they play it once a month when their friend comes over to their house, and they don't even know that there's a new console about to be on the market.
Yeah, but they
I don't know how you can consider that person to be part of a statistical group when you're trying to measure people who are actively engaged in what's going on in the world of gaming. I think there's so much of an outlier compared to the rest of the data that skews the data.
There is, however, there's not a polling section whenever everybody that buys an Xbox One, they're not going to ask a single person whether or not they plan to buy 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12 games per year, and or not DLC for that, or any side peripherals. They're not going to ask those questions. So the only question we can ask that person is, did you or did you not purchase this? For whatever purpose, that's never asked. All you can say is that they spent $300 or $500. They're now a statistic. That's a measurable statistics.
I agree with you that there's not a measurable statistic.
And the thing is, if the only other statistic you can go off of is to take the amount of consoles sold and then the amount of games purchased and try to work those numbers somehow. So if there's 10 Xboxes sold and there's 7 Call of Duty Ghosts sold, then you can say that 70% of the community plays Call of Duty. And without those types of statistics, you can't account for the person that buys 3 games or the person that buys every single game that comes out. It's too difficult to do. What you can say is that YouTube is free advertising, and you should be catering to them because it's good free advertising.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make the statistics. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, a way to determine if someone was part of the gaming community would be, I would give them some kind of test. And it wouldn't be, what's the latest model of Astro headset that came out, or complicated or really detailed questions, but basic questions about what's happening in the gaming community. What are the 2 next gen consoles that are coming out? Can you name 2 differences between each of the next gen consoles? What's the most popular game release of this year? You know, it's just like basic questions like that, and say if you can answer 5 out of 10 questions, then clearly you're somewhat informed on what's happening. I'm not asking you to watch an hour of YouTube videos every day, but
I am.
At least, well, if they're all mine, then yes. But
oh jeez.
If you at least like someone who literally asks me point blank, someone who plays 2 games a year, and asks me point blank, it says, "What's the difference between an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One?" I can't consider you part of the gaming community, because if you don't know the answer to that question, at least at a base level, clearly you're not paying any attention to what's happening in the gaming community. So I don't consider you to be a part of it.
Well,
that's
unfortunately,
my final thought.
Microsoft views them as part of the gaming community.
Exactly.
Good for Microsoft. Yeah. I'm not Microsoft, so.
Well, that's who we're talking about. That this number actually matters is Sony and Microsoft, not your personal opinion. And in their eyes, anybody that buys a console is part of the gaming community.
They made that money.
I just think it's funny or odd that YouTubers and people who capture and record don't rank high enough for it to be a priority for them until this point in launch, and it's only because of the backlash from the community.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
I agree. We all have to urinate. Whackbad, wrap up the show.
Well, I was going to say one thing, because I felt like you were going to ask me this. I got to say it. And now, and Maze Man hit the point as far as that previous argument, but I think you were going to ask me regarding the HDCP. We know that doesn't change my console preference on what I'm going to get. I know it would have changed a lot of other people's. I'd be curious to know if that would change anyone else's. Exactly. The reason why it doesn't change mine, though, is because there's still games for the PlayStation 4 that I want to play, and the whole reason of me getting a console is to play the games, not to upload the latest and greatest videos and try to get those views and subs, because ultimately I do this for fun. You know, you have to keep that mentality, I believe. And yeah, it's gonna suck as far as regarding my YouTube channel and all that, and you know, trying to get PlayStation gameplay and stuff before the patch. Yeah, it's gonna suck, but I'm still gonna have a lot of fun playing my new console and the games I'm gonna get, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
not well timed.
But
I don't know.
I
we
think
don't
you
have
have
a
to,
world's smallest violin sound effect. That's the closest thing we have. It's about Bondfire was like telling the story of my YouTube channel. It's gonna slowly decay until they have this patch.
Did I
it's
say
gonna
that?
Be a struggle.
I get you gameplay. I get you gameplay.
No, but it's like, I don't know. It was just like it's a sad sounding story. It's like, oh, poor Bonfire, man. He's not gonna be able to.
I didn't take it like that. I didn't take it like that. I took it
that way. Came across like that. I mean,
no.
It's just that because I do YouTube, that doesn't influence what I buy or influence my gaming and how I game and why I game. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But at the same time, it does suck that as a byproduct of that, YouTube may not be as easy for you without this recording. I mean...
Sure, but that just means if I do grow and I worked that much harder for it and it's that much more satisfying. I don't need some unboxing of the Xbox One at midnight as soon as that console comes out to get me X amount of views and subs, or I don't need that comparison of the 360 Ghost version and the Xbox One version.
He's calling out all these videos I had planned. What's happening?
Oh, I know, because you and 50,000 other people.
Yeah, I was gonna say you and everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, everybody else is gonna be searching for it. Plus, it's a video I want to do.
Yeah, and
I had a lot of fun doing my unboxing for Black Ops 2. I
went back and watched that a few weeks ago.
We were in line with people, and I got to meet and collab a little bit, and it was pretty cool. I had a good time, just being there and saying, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber guy," blah blah, and you wouldn't believe some of the people that other people watch. Just, I don't know, maybe it's area specific, but people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I watch this person all the time." I'm like, I've never heard of that person. I watch YouTube every single day for, 2 hours a day. I watch YouTube. Never heard of that person.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The only reason that if I couldn't record on a console, it would sway my decision is not like because I'm wanting to get a ton of views and subs or anything. It's just that I feel so connected to my YouTube now. Like it's a daily hobby of mine. It's something that I enjoy doing. Like it would take a real huge discrepancy between the two consoles for me to want to give up that hobby for an extended period of time, or at least make that a very challenging thing to do for an extended period of time, just to have one console over the other. I would say if you couldn't record on the Xbox One, and it were going to be, if it was a period of longer than 3 weeks that I couldn't record at all, then I would seriously consider switching to the PlayStation. Which may sound crazy to switch a 5-year console at least decision for 3 weeks of game recording, but I don't know. It's just that big of a deal to me. YouTube is.
The biggest problem that I have is that you don't have a time frame.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
I mean, what if this
rough.
is a 6-month patch that it's so in depth in the coding that it's going to take them 6 months to get around a way to do this. That's tough, man. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm going to speculate that not everybody buying a PS4 has another $500 to drop.
Agreed.
Plus the money for the games once you get the Xbox One, just so that you can have content to upload. And I know there's going to be a lot of people sharing content. I'll be glad to share some content. My gameplays are not
If you want a
like
man's
Tactical
gameplay,
Oyster's gameplay.
then just ask me.
You know,
and I'll
I'm
hook
not
you
taking
up.
That's a whole new
gameplay. That
channel,
ain't my
though.
thing.
That's a whole new
See,
channel right
here's
there.
The great
It's
thing
just
too, though. Just
selling
because I'm not going to
gameplays.
be an early adopter of the Xbox One and being able to upload, right away those types of games and things like that, doesn't mean that the 360 and PlayStation 3 are dead. They're
That's a
not.
good point.
Because I'm still getting Ghosts for the Xbox 360. I'm not going to get it for the PlayStation 3. I'm playing it on the Xbox. I'm not, even if I got an Xbox One, I wouldn't upgrade to it.
So,
think
if you gonna when the PlayStation 4 comes out, are you gonna stay on 360 for Ghosts?
Yeah, I'm not getting Ghosts for PlayStation 4. That was
Okay.
never anything. I'm
Okay.
getting Battlefield 4 for PlayStation 4.
My dad.
And you guys don't play that game, so it doesn't matter anyways. So
Yeah. My dad is sticking with the 360, and he's getting COD Ghost for the 360, so I'm just going to share his copy with him till the one comes out.
yeah,
So
So
It's only $10 to upgrade.
yeah,
That's
but I don't
true.
need to upgrade, so I'm
yeah,
I
and
gotta-
I kind of feel like the same way too.
I got a deal worked out with my cousin. He's gonna buy, and this is less money than I found out now that I could spend, but he's gonna buy half of Ghosts, and I'm gonna use it for the first 3 weeks of its existence.
So you're paying $30 to play a game for 3 weeks.
What you gonna do? You gotta have content to upload.
Yeah.
Plus, Steven's gotta have a game.
There's plenty of games. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I was just
Steven can play Battlefield.
Great game.
Steven
Steven
would have
doesn't
fun
like
playing Battlefield.
I know Steven, and he doesn't like Battlefield.
That's unfortunate.
I feel like, has Maze Man watched the Steven video? Because I feel like he's kind of confused right now.
Nope, I've seen the video. I've
You
seen
did? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Can I get
what is
feedback?
happening
What-
right now?
See,
What did you think
now-
of that?
I thought it was more like the old man from Family Guy than a
That's-
homosexual.
Oh.
I thought it was
That's-
more of a
I picked
pedophile
up,
type.
I thought of that as well, actually.
That's not
that-
what
that
I
thought
was
entered my
going
mind.
for.
Oh, that's good. You went for the gay person, and you got the pedophile.
That-
Yeah, that's what it came across as me. So,
I wasn't going for. Well, I mean,
Blackman, when are you going to do the outro for this?
I don't have to pee anymore. I went in my pants.
well, before you wrap it up, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure. I had fun, and it was actually really enjoyable. So,
Yes.
for
You're-
4
you're
happy to have you.
hours.
thank you.
We've
I
been
know.
here forever.
It's a long time.
Thank you for coming on. It's a
No
blast.
problem, man.
So make sure you check out Maze Man's content. He's got some really good stuff going on. All kinds of stuff going on over there that you should go and check out. Appreciate you being here. Check out Strictly Business Gaming as always. We appreciate them helping us out with the giveaways and stuff. And for Oyster and Bondfire and myself, it is really early in the morning. Y'all have a good night.